Hello and welcome to a very special event here today. This is the Stock Car Interleague World Final. Several communities all together on track at the same time, all competing with each other to decide the best sim racing community, the best sim racer on game Stock Car. And I've got Liam Jenkins in the booth with me today.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Really should be an exciting event tonight. It's the end of the motorsport season, and it really is one of those all-star events in which a true champion will be crowned.
It's going to be a great event. We've got two 40-minute races, one at Curitiba and one at Jacarepagua, Curva Sul. And we've got RPM, we've got Argentina, Brazil, F1BC, Raceland, TouringProSeries, of course, and Sim Racing Evolution, all competing on track at once for the ultimate sim racing prize in-game stock car. And if you don't know so much about these drivers, I'm going to give a little introduction. RPM have kindly produced us a video which we can use and show you now. And this is the video for you. Of course, you may know all the TPS drivers pretty well, but you may not know the RPM drivers so well. So this is a little introduction from them. Enjoy. Hello and welcome back to the action here. This is going to be a great event, and we've got qualifying coming up in just a second here, Liam, and all the drivers are gearing up. Let's go now into the game for you guys. And these are the preliminary times you can see. And you can see that this is Jack Keithley, who has been the fastest so far, and the game is now just going into that qualifying session, and here we are now in qualifying. We're also going to have a safety car here today, driven by none other than Alexander Seni. Those who've watched the TPS broadcast will be familiar with his name, and we'll see a rolling start for that 10-minute qualifying session here. An open number of laps, Liam, and looks to be very close out on track, apart from Jack Keithley.
Yeah, indeed it does. I think as well that there's a lot of underdogs here. You would favour the Brazilians in terms, it is a Brazilian stock car sim, but a lot of these guys are going to be putting in practice because it is not just bragging rights here. This is across nearly the entirety of sim racing, so a lot of big names will not only be racing here, but watching as well.
So who's your favourite here today for pole position, judging by those practice times, Liam? I mean, you can't say anybody but Jack, really.
Yeah, I would say either Jack or maybe perhaps Chris Butcher. But there could maybe be an underdog, maybe one of the Brazilian drivers from RPM or someone like that could really try and show up here today, because practice is a good indication to maybe race pace or practice pace, but no one truly knows what you've got in terms of qualifying pace until that adrenaline starts kicking in, and maybe a few drivers have some things up their sleeve.
Okay, we are in for an exciting session here, there's no doubt about that, and we're going to be running through that for you. Jack Keithley is number 22. There you are, number 22. And these are the rest of the skins out there for you, so you can just identify them when the race is going on. Of course, you've got the purple of the Brazilian leagues. There's Neto Nascimento in his GOIM.BR Raceland car. There is Toby Davis. Once again, everyone knows about him. And here is Bruno DeCamo. This is the HBE car. The HBE car, should I say? It's the FIBC car. Talking rubbish there. F1BC car, even, sorry. And Alan Thibault as well. He's in the SRE car. The SRE skins are very nice indeed. Monster Energy on the side as well. And here's Daniel Magest for Magest. There's Mohammed Patel. He's also racing for Touring Pro Series. Number 17. Jesper Torborg also, of course. Well-known name also for Touring Pro Series. Here's Luciano Maric. He's racing for the RPM League. If you watched that video, you would have known about that. That's the Argentinian League. Number 11 is Juan Zanino, also for the RPM League. That's Argentina. And Ezequiel Garitano. So they're all very close on track. All of those drivers. And Maxi Gejo is Marcelo Maria also. So you can see you've got plenty of them all together there. James Johnson a little bit further down for the TPS crew. There's Thomas Lacombe. That's the SRE skin, as you can see. Easily identifiable. Black and white and green. Patrick Guranton as well, also. The Adminator SRE, Steve Mumish. Arthur Vieira, that's the F1 BC car, as you can see, from Brazil. Gabriel Bechtold, F1 Brazil. Well-known sim racer also, of course. Looking for fireworks from him, Liam.
Yeah, and as you say, he's a little bit further down the field, but of course the thing is, which could be a big factor here, is the actual track nature itself. It's a very tight and twisty track with very rare overtaking opportunities without risking something quite major. And with so much on the line here in terms of driver pride, you're not only representing your team, you're representing your entire league that you come from. These are some of the best drivers from these leagues, so we could see maybe a different side to some of these drivers today. So, yeah, you never know, you could see one of those guys, maybe like James Johnson, a bit further down the field at the moment, have a really strong race today.
So Jack Keithy taking evasive action over the big bumps there. On board with Toby Davis now. He's doing a qualifying lap at the moment. As he comes around to this very tricky hairpin. You have to swing out wide and come back in and try and hit that apex there. Try not to hit the curb too much, but he has hit it a little bit there. Let's see what he can do. This, of course, will be the first time laps of the session. We've got 6 minutes to go. Jack Leith has already set a 17.617, a scintillating pace. Nobody else has been in the 17s. And Jack was in the 17.3s in qualifying, which is absolutely ridiculous. Not quite sure how he did that, whether it was legal or not. I'm not quite sure. I can't believe he's on the 17.3 at 1 earlier, but he did a 17.6 straight away here, so maybe it was completely legitimate. And Toby Davis coming out of the final corner. What has he got? Where will he slot in? 18.059. So improves his time, does not improve his position. He's still in second place. Third place is Neto Nascimento. There he is, on track at the moment. What has he got? He's 3/10 down after the second sector there. And just coming through past Mohammed Patel. Bruno De Carmo goes up into third. Juan Zanino is in fifth. He's improving also. As you see, one of the SRE cars off track. Then I couldn't quite catch who that was. Alan Thibau and Daniel Magest and Arthur Ferreira make up your top 8. What does Nascimento come as he comes towards the line? Can he improve and go up onto the front row provisionally? No, he can't. 18.563, nowhere near improving, in fact, on his own time. So, anybody else on track? Zanino, what has he got? He's going to cross the line now, and an 18.4, no, he does not improve, despite being PB into that second sector. Marek into 9th. Bechtold is in 10th. Jesper Torborg is still on the 11th at the moment. Let's quickly check up with him.
Yeah, it's a bit uncharacteristic, isn't it, from Jesper? I'm sure it'd like to be a lot higher than that one. But of course, we've seen some very impressive performances from him of late, and you really want to try and boost that this afternoon. He's not really a man to kind of slip off pace when the pressure's not needed. He really does want to carry that Touring Pro Series flag, which is really currently being heralded by Jack Keithy at the moment. Let's see what he can do this lap, but it'll be interesting to see him start from a bit further down the field and maybe push his way through.
Absolutely. So let's see what he can do on this lap then, because this is a driver who needs to improve his position. A great lap time there for James Johnson, by the way, an 18.080. Goes up into third at the moment. He's not shown any kind of pace like that in pre-practice so far. So great lap there from James Johnson. Goes into third. Very close, actually, behind Jack Keithy. 18.0, 18.0, 18.0 look. An 18.1 and 18.1 from Nascimento and Thibault. So that's looking very tight indeed. Just a couple of tenths improves you plenty of time. And what is Jesper Torborg? He's coming towards the line now. He's on a PB at the moment. But what has he got? How far will he go up the field? Or will he go up the field at all, of course? Mohammed Patel slots into 8th. 18.305. Jesper Torborg now coming towards the line. And 18.001, as close to as a 17 as you dare to get without getting into the 17s. And it's second place for Jesper Torborg. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment for TPS. In 5th place is Bruno De Carmo for F1BC. 6th place is Neto Nascimento for Raceland. 7th place is Thibault for SRA. 8th place is Juan Zanino for RPM. 9th place, Mohammed Patel, TPS. 10th place is Daniel Magest. He's driving for the Brazil League. I'm not quite sure which league that was. They're not told us. Magest, I believe it is, league. 11th place is Arthur Vera. He's for the F1BC. And Luciano Marek is in 12th. He's for RPM. As Jack Keithley is going even faster at the moment. I'm not sure that was possible, but he's managing to do it. And he is in Sector 2 now as he goes around Turn 3. Turn 4 even, sorry. Now up to Turn 5 and now down towards Turn 6, which is the tight hairpin. 3 minutes to go in qualifying so far. Daniel Magest goes up into second place. Look at that, 17.917 from Daniel Magest. So that's a good lap time from him. Slots into second place, splits up that TPS axis there, who've got the top 6 apart from Daniel Magest right now, because Chris Butcher slotted into 4th place, is on a PB also. Jack Keithley comes through, just about gets past the number 27 SRE car. There's Jack Keithley goes around the final corner. Will he improve here? If he does, I don't see anybody else getting anywhere close to him. He does improve a 3.98. Wow. What a wonderful lap there from Jack Keithley, 3.98. Second place is Daniel Magest. He's on a PB at the moment, but only margin on a PB. Will he improve? 9.69, not a 9.17, sorry.
Well,
this is a great effort for Daniel, isn't it?
It's a very good effort to really get in front in the mix of those TPS guys as well. It's a bit of a TPS sandwich at the moment. Keithley in front and Tolbert behind. But again, the interesting thing about Jack Keithley, as you can see, Magest is up on his time there by hundreds of a second. So he's thousands, I beg your pardon. So he really is pushing at the moment. But of course, Jack Keithley is a previous World Supertech Series champion. He's won, of course, last series as well at the final race of the season. He knows what it's like to master these cars, and this is definitely showing dividends here today.
So yes, but he's in 3rd at the moment. Chris Butcher was in 4th. 5th place is Toby Davis. 6th place is James Johnson. 7th place is Bruno De Carmo. What can he do? He's on a lap at the moment. He is, but he does not improve. An 18.5 still from Bruno De Carmo. 8th place is Nathan Nascimento. 9th place is Alan Thibault. He's the highest SRE guy at the moment in 9th place. Then we want to improve on that. Jesper Torborg's on a PB at the moment. We'll look out for that lap time. 10th place is Juan Zunino. He's also on a PB. He's a quarter of a second up on his time and gone wide there at that corner. That's going to cost him quite a bit. Obviously coming wide out of there. And Juan Zunino now around the final corner. Will he improve? I don't think he will. He's gone very wide there also. So I don't think it's going to be improvement there for Juan Zunino. Will Jesper Torborg improve? Just keep your eye on the left-hand side. He does improve. Goes into second place. So it's a TPS front row once again. Toby Davis is in 5th. Still, Juan Zunino still in 10th. Did not improve, of course. We think that would be the case. Mohamed Patel is starting a new lap. Artur Vieira still in 12th with just a minute to go, so he's going to be stuck in 12th. That's the best he'll do. And Granthon as well. And Marek is out on track, though. As is Bechtel. Bechtel is only 15th at the moment. That's a bit of a turn up for the books.
Yeah, it really is. A lot of strong this session so far. As you can see, there's a late. You can see those green squares next to the driver's name, symbolising a personal best. So these late last-minute wonders are coming through. Are we going to see any shock surprises, though? As there you can see Thibault. Let's see what he can do now as he comes around the final corner. Is this going to be enough to get himself in towards a good position? It's such a long right-hander, though. Question is this going to give him enough momentum to sit him any higher than 9th position? Comes across the finish line now. Can he go higher than P9? He's not on a PB at the moment.
No, he can't.
No,
he can't do it.
9th.
What has Juan Zunino got, though, is, again, that 0.2 of a second up, and that will improve him into probably about 7th or 8th at the moment if he can just keep it going. We've got Keithley and Torborg. I don't know if anybody else is out on track at the moment, able to beat any more times. But Juan Zunino out at the final corner. Down towards, of course, that start-finish line. What has Zunino got? He's still 11th, and then Patel has knocked him down. Look, Patel has knocked him down. From that 10th position. He's gone into 9th as Patel. Anybody else out on track? I think that is it. Yes, Toby Davis will not send another lap time. Chris Butcher, I don't think. Did he get at that? Did he start that lap before the timer ticked down? I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure, yes, but Torborg didn't, but he's in 10th up. He may have done. I'm not quite sure, actually. I'm not quite sure exactly when that ticker went down. And exactly when they crossed the line, of course, we weren't watching them. We'll quickly stick with them for now, just in case they manage to get their laps in. Jesper Torborg right in behind Toby Davis. As they come around that hairpin, squeeze the power out of the car, out of here. Looks like they may be able to get these laps in. The session is not forwarding through. Chris Butcher is on a PB. Jesper Torborg slightly PB as well. I don't think he's going to improve, though. But Chris Butcher may go up into 3rd place, or maybe even 2nd place with this lap. He goes around the final corner. Chris Butcher now driving towards the line. Can he usurp Daniel Magest from that 3rd place? Can he usurp, of course, Jesper Torborg from the second place. And no, he can't. Does not improve. Actually, 5 thousandths off his PB. And Patel improves. Look at that. 17.7 from nowhere from Mohammed Patel. Patel goes into second place. Look at that. Patel into second place. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 for TPS. Fourth place for Daniel Magest for Magest. Eighth place for DeCarmo for F1C. And F1BC, should I say. Next Nascimento in 9th for Raceland. 10th is Alan Thibault, the best of the SRE drivers. While Juan Zanino is in 11th place. Now this is the warm-up session, but that was a dominating performance there from TPS.
Oh, they really have gone to work on this, haven't they? As we said, though, these are some of the most competitive drivers in the whole of sim racing. That really has just gone to show. And as we predicted, Jack Keithley miles ahead in front of anyone else. But I think Daniel Magest has done a really good job to get himself in the mix up here. And he really will be hunting for a podium this afternoon.
I'm sure we'll be hunting for more than a podium after that dominating performance in qualifying. He wanted to get out and just lead this race from the start and take the win. That really was a superb. Of course, this is pretty bad omens for those drivers who have to compete against him in the next WSS round, which is at this particular track. It's rather going to be rather demoralizing for them. Bruno DeCarmo is the best of the F1BC drivers. We've got 2 Brazilians in the top 8. Magest in 4th and DeCarmo in 8th. We represent the Brazilian League, should I say. 9th place in Nature Nascimento, of course, that's 3 in the top 9 for them. Best SRA, as I say, is Alan Thibault in 10th. 11th place is Juan Zanino, the best of the Argentinians. 12th place is Arthur Vieira, another of the Brazilian representatives. 13th place, SRE representative, Frenchman Patrick Guiranton. 14th place is Luciano Maric. 15th place is Gabriel Bechtold, represented the Brazilian leagues. 16th place is Jerome Tellier. He's representing the SRE leagues. Marcelo Murillo, Argentina. Garitano is for Argentina also. 19th place, Thomas Lacombe. He's for SRE. 20th place, Maxi Gejo. That's for the Argentina league, should I say. Charrier, also for the SRE league. Ramos for RPM. So lots of RPM and SRE in the bottom half of this grid, Liam. How do you think they'll feel about that?
Well, they'll say that maybe a slow start, but they'll be looking to try and really turn their fortunes around and get those winds of change blowing. And maybe they took this season for granted. Who knows? Thing is, as we say so many times, this is so competitive right now. And these cars really do make for some clean, competitive racing. If they can maybe get some slipstream and capitalise on some mistakes, then there's no reason why they can't be fighting for some top 10 positions later on.
Exactly. They'll only go forward from here, really. That's the best way to look at it at the moment, isn't it? But it's a disappointing session for them, I'm sure. I'm sure they would have hoped to have done quite a bit better than that. But Magest is the best of the non-TPS drivers. In fact, the only one in the top 7 at the moment, which is a fantastic performance from TPS that's gone past my wildest expectations, I have to say. I didn't expect it to be quite so dominant. And we have a pace car out here for the second race, and Liam's going to take you through just the rest of this warm-up session while I brief the drivers about the procedures that are going to happen during the formation lap to the drivers.
Yeah, so not long to go now then. 1 minute 50 seconds before we go racing for what could be one of the most important off-season sim racing events of the year, as Keithley maintains that momentum at top of the field, again going top there. 0.063 faster. He really is flying at the moment, isn't he? And if you say he knocks the right one for victory right now, I'm sure the bookies will be giving really a small odds on. He's done great. However, though, there are some good guys. One man I'd really like to talk about there is Nato Nascimento. Now, of course, he's a regular Touring Pro Series driver in the World Supertech Series. Now, he's racing against Touring Pro Series, of course, in his home league, if you will. He's really going to be the most expertised guy there, I think, because he's going to realise what the guys around can do. Guys like Jack Keithley, Jesper Tolberg, James Johnson, Mohammed Patel, he's raced with them so many times before. He'll know their driving styles around this circuit from last season. He'll know what they can do and how competitive they can be. So he really could be the catalyst for them to have a really good, strong race today. He's currently sitting in P4, so that definitely goes to show he's got the knowledge to be able to do some good laps around here, and it really is a tricky circuit and able to do so. So 45 seconds left. He comes around the final corner, so we'll get another lap in. Just a bit of a lock up there, nothing 2 Extreme. So, are there going to be any late surprises? Of course, this is maybe a final chance to practice race starts or have a final team briefing. So, you know, there's a team, maybe 3 or 4 drivers per league, so you want to just make sure everything's clear between the two. If there is a clear designated #1 driver and he's a bit further down the field, maybe say, look, as soon as he comes up to us, move away. Or do you let your guys fight? There's a lot in terms of team management here and the way to get your drivers pumped up and getting ready to have a clean race. I mean, Turn 1 alone is a very difficult corner. You want to make sure not only for the guys towards the back of the field can get a way through quickly and clean, but also that they don't run the risk of not only hitting another driver, or not only hitting their teammates. So the timer hits 0, and we get ready for a 40-minute race around Curitiba. This is going to be absolutely spectacular, but the question is, who is the best community out there, and who is the best sim racer out there on Game Stock Car? So I believe we're having some broadcast issues at the moment. We'll try and fix these as soon as we possibly can. But for now, if you haven't seen it already or you've just joined us, it is actually an RPM trailer. So for those of you who are maybe familiar with this league but not with the other one, here's a trailer of the RPM drivers entering today's event.
User joined your channel. User left your channel.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Okay, so we are experiencing some server issues at the moment. We're going to try and get these fixed as soon as we possibly can, and hopefully try and get you back into the server to bring you all the updates live from the final. So just bear with us and we'll try and get these fixed for you.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Okay, thank you for bearing with us. We're still having some tech problems, so we're trying to get them fixed for you as soon as possible so we can bring you all the action from the finals. So thank you to every single fan at the moment who's bearing with us. I'm sure you're getting tired of the ISR trailers right now, but we're working on them as soon as we can, and we'll try and bring you to the action as soon as possible.
Hello, welcome back to the Stock Car Interleague World Final. Our apologies for all those technical issues that have stopped you watching the action for the last 10 minutes. They seem to have all been solved now, and we are having to redo the rest of qualifying, unfortunately, for you guys. So we saw a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 for TPS in the first qualifying, and Jack Lee's gone straight back out again and done a fantastic lap time once again, so he's on fire here today. Yes, we're told Chris Butcher second and third, Patel in fourth, McGuest in fifth, Vieira in sixth, Toby Davis in seventh, Thibault in eighth, Marek in ninth, and Granthon is in 10th at the moment. So we also joined by an extra body in the broadcast, Mr. Scott Woodward.
Yes, good evening guys. It's been a little while since I've done a broadcast, but yeah, good to be with you at a little bit short notice. I'll try and fill in as best I can for you guys and try and keep you informed. But yeah, good to be here for this pretty exciting race tonight.
And of course, Liam is still here as well. So, Liam, again we're going to have qualifying. Who do you predict for pole position?
I was going to say, you know, once you have something like this and the server goes down, it really can demotivate a driver who's done well, but Jack Keithley seems to have spurred him on even more, hasn't it? He's once again on pole position so far, so in every session he's been in this evening from what I've seen, he's been top of the timesheet, so for me I'm still going to have to say Jack Keithley, I think.
Looks like it at the moment, doesn't it? Daniel McGuest was the best of the non-TPS guys in fourth in the last qualifying session, and he's looking strong at the moment in sixth so far. Only an 18.3 at the moment though. People were getting 18.0s quite regularly and in that kind of area in 5th, 6th and 7th and 8th in the last qualifying session. But Chris Butcher has improved. He was on an 18.0 last time around, 17.7 this time, and that will annoy Jesper Tolbuk no end because he was second. And he'll probably feel that he should still be second, but now he's back to third. There he is. He's on a PB at the moment. Green in that first sector. When he got to the second sector, he's 3/10 off Jack Keithley, but still green on himself, so he has a chance of beating Chris Butcher's time. Always a bit sliding through that fast chicane. They're not quite going to happen, I don't think. Juanzinho is on the track still. My guess is on track, 7th place. Out of Ferreira, and they're not on hot laps at the moment. James Johnson is on a hot lap. Was he got his crosses that first sector line? 3/10 down already in that first sector on Jack Keithley. In 10th place is Gabriel Bechtold. They didn't have a very good qualifying session first time around, looking to make up for it this time around. 11th place Alan Thibault. He was the best of the SRE guys last time around in 10th place. And he's out on track at the moment, trying to set a lap time, I think. But I think that's McGuest getting in his way, and that's not going to help him at all. And there you go, I have it, 6/10 down in that first sector, very short first sector, remember as well. Toby Davis is on a green lap at the moment, which means he's a PB. Look out very, very wide out the final corner. That's not going to help him at all, I don't think. He's going to cross the line now, and an 18.332 does not improve. So Granthon is also on a green lap at the moment. That means they're on a personal best, that green box. Second sector split here right now. 1.3 seconds down though, so no, it's not going to be an improvement for him. But Thomas Lacombe just in behind him. He's on the green lap at the moment, only just on the green lap though, and it's been slightly held up by Patrick Duranton. Patrick is the admin at SRA, Sim Racing Evolution, the French community of Game Stock Car. And Lacombe comes towards the line. Got a draft, of course, from Granthon, but hasn't been held up too much. He goes to 12th, so Lacombe does improve. Arthur Ferreira is on a green lap at the moment, personal best. That F1BC car. He's still on a PB, but still more than 6/10 down on Jack Keithley, but he's on 3/10 up on himself, so this could see him improve quite a lot. Up to the 18.1s at least anyway. We've got 2.5 minutes to go in this session. Can anybody get on to the qualifying podium ahead of TPS? Couldn't manage it last time around. Seems like they can manage it even less this time around. What have they got? Vieira crosses the line and he goes 5th. He does usurp Toby Davis. Toby Davis got back down to 6th place. Jack Keithley's on the purple lap at the moment. McGuest is also on the green lap. Can he improve? McGuest now coming towards the second sector split. It's just here. See that line right there on the tarmac? McGuest goes across there and he's 4/10 down, but he's a quarter of a second up on his time at the moment, which will put him right in the ballpark of 4th, 5th and 6th once again. Thibault also on a PB. He's 11th place at the moment. Much improved performance here from Juanzinho. But Jack Keithley is so consistent. He's 4 thousandths quicker than his lap time in that second sector. McGuest crosses the line and he stays in 8th. Oh, it's a poor final sector for McGuest. He did improve his time though, but not by enough. Where is Jack Keithley? Is he going to improve? Crossing the line there is number 22. He does improve. 17.386 now. Wonderful lap there from Jack.
Oh, it's just great stuff by Jack. He's just been on
And
the
Bruno
pace
De
all
Carlo in
afternoon.
4.
And that's a real shake-up, isn't it? So great way to once again mix it up with the Touring Pro Series guys at the front. Couldn't quite get in front of Jesper Tolberg, but he's in a sandwich in between him and Mohamed Patel. Vieira there for 6, 1 minute to go, and Daniel Miguel, the man who was in P3 last time round until the final moments, is currently situated in 9th position. What has he got left in that car? And the question is, can he get into a similar position to what he did earlier?
And now we've got 1 minute to go in qualifying, so if you're not on track, you will not get a lap in. So this is the crucial period. 1 minute to go. Toby Davis is starting his final qualifying lap. Not a good lap time from him there, so obviously just winding up for another effort here. Needs to find a 10th of a second. That will send him up into 5th position. He's down in 7th at the moment. Out of shape there through the difficult first sector, but a good exit using all of the curb, getting out sideways also as well. That didn't look very good actually in the end. And Davis is 4 tenths down on Jack Keithley already, not on the PB also, so he's going to have to go barnstorming through the rest of the sector. Gabriel Bechtold has gone to 5th. There we go. I just missed him. I went back to 11th to go and get him. He went to 5th. So Bechtold to 5th. Much improved performance there from Gabriel Bechtold. He was 15th in that first session.
Yeah, it was great to see. So that's one of the perks for him then of this qualifying being reset. He really has had a great chance to up his qualifying pace and has done him well. It's over 10 positions almost there to get himself into the top 5, and that's a great result for him and the team as well. As we were saying earlier, that it's not just your team you're representing, it's your entire league. So the rest of the drivers in this league could potentially be watching you, so the fate of the league rests on your shoulders. So no pressure for these drivers out there today, and of course some of these drivers will be no strangers to pressure at all. So you've got the man still out front, Jack Keithley, 5 tenths quicker than Chris Butcher, so he really is on another planet right now.
And the good thing is about the qualifying session being redone again is, of course, those guys who may have had some issues in the first qualifying session, they get a chance to redeem themselves in the second session. Definitely seeing the moment the Touring Pro Series guys definitely setting the pace so far, showing that at the moment they are the kings of game stock cars, especially from seeing the 8 stock cars. To see Mohamed Patel heading through the second sector up towards the last couple of corners. But yeah, at the moment it's Jack Keithley leading a TPS 1, 2, 3 at the front. But so far it seems to be that the other leagues around definitely seems as though they can try and give them a run for their money. But with the last couple of laps completed, will we see any last minute surprises? Let's find out.
Yeah, the clock has ticked down, so that is it. If you're not on a lap, you're not going to set a new one. And Patel goes 3rd. He did it again. He did it in the first qualifying session. He went 4th in the dying seconds, and in the second one, he's gone 3rd this time around. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 for the TPS racing guys. And Toby Davis is back down in 8th. He won't be pleased with that because he was up in 5th in the first qualifying session. Well, what can Maguest do? Maguest stays 10th. Maguest stays in 10th. A little bit better performance from the rest of the leagues there this time around. Versus Touring Pro Series, it was 6 in the top 7 last time around for the Touring Pro Series. This time it's just 5 in the top 8, and the top 4 annex this time around was opposed to the top 3. So it kind of swings and roundabouts there for the TPS, and that's the end of qualifying now as we go into the warm-up session. We've got 5 minutes of warm-up here, then we'll have a manual rolling formation lap, and then they will set off 2 by 2 into the race. Hopefully not too much carnage into that first corner. 5 minutes to go. So guys, favourites for the race?
Well, it's going to have to be Jack Keithley, I think, isn't it? I mean, he's just showed such dominance, not just through the quali session, but the warm-up session, the practice session that we saw before the thing got reset. But he really has been up there and just consistently. That's where their consistency has just been absolutely crucial for that young man. And he just blitzed everyone, and it's a real dominant showing by him, so you'd expect him to really transpire that into race pace.
I think for me personally, that Mohamed Patel's actually really impressed me so far. Of course, looking back at the first race of the brand new World Super Tech Series at Jacarepagua, of course, which is the second race we're going to this evening after Curitiba. I think he's very much impressed, and of course he's an FSR regular. I've seen him race the touring car before as well, and so he definitely knows how to handle a rear-wheel drive touring car. And of course he's more used to a BMW than one I've seen him race. But obviously being in a great big Brazilian V8 stock car, seems to have taken it like a duck to water, so 3rd place on the grid. I would back him probably for a surprise favourite for a win, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets at least a podium in this first race tonight.
So there's the tips Keithy and Patel to look out for. Who, apart from the TPS guys, you think look out for? I'm impressed by Bruno De Carlo. That's a great lap from him in the end. He was 8th in the first qualifying session and managed to pull himself up into 5th.
Yeah, it's a great showing. I think he's got a look at the guys just around him as well. You got Bexel there and the guest they showed. In that qualifying session, which was qualifying pace of the first session. But if their race pace is any similar, then we could see a few surprises in the top 5 this afternoon.
We've got Bruno De Carlo, Bechtold and Vieira. Those are all from the Brazilian leagues. So that's good representation for them. I guess Ronzanino's the best of the Argentinian leagues. He's in 9th place. Thibaut this time is 12th best of the SRE league. So they've actually not improved at all. They've gone from best of over 10th to the best of 12th. So struggling there at the moment for SRE, but it can only get better from here, of course. They can always improve throughout the race.
They can. I think one of the main advantages of the fact that the guys from the Brazilian leagues, of course, these guys, they're trying to obviously maintain some national pride here. Of course, this is essentially their equivalent to BTCC back over here in the UK. So of course, they're trying to uphold the Brazil, and of course, the Argentinians, of course, the South Americans definitely trying to represent their series, and I think trying to give the mostly English league from us here at TPS, trying to give us a bit of an upstart. But it's fingers crossed, see what we'll see. Hopefully these guys seem to be relatively close to equal each other on the grid, so hopefully we're looking forward to some really great close racing in this first race in Curitiba this evening.
Absolutely, and Liam and Scott are going to take you through the rest of the qualifying session while I just brief the drivers about the starting procedures here for this formation lap.
Indeed we will. So we've got 2 minutes left in this warm-up session, and currently it's Jack Keithy setting the pace in warm-up with a 1:18.3. With Mohamed Patel, in fact he's gone even quicker in the first sector already by a 1/10.5, so that's impressive stuff so far as they head through. Let's see if we can pick up Jack Keithy here. I've now got the controls, but just while we go back to that, we've got a huge gaggle of cars here, which is Toby Davis in the middle of 3 of the Sim Racing Evolution cars, so he's definitely being rattled here. One of maybe tactics, but the Sim Racing guys, there's always a bit of contact between the two of them. One of them goes off onto the grass on the left-hand side there, but he's straight into the barrows. I didn't see who that was. I need to see maybe we can click back, and it was, I think it was Thomas Lacombe, I think it was. We'll see a replay of that if we can. Or maybe not, we're scrolling through the standings there, but in terms of the pace, we've seen Neto Nascimento jumping up to 2nd place there, so Brazilian, of course, he races for TouringProSeries, and of course he's representing them, definitely showing that he didn't seem to really come through in qualifying, but of course now in the warm-up he's definitely showing he's got some decent race pace about him, Liam.
I believe Liam's disappeared, Scott, so you're by yourself at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Liam's connection's not been the best today.
Not a problem.
Oh, there we go, Liam's back.
He joined. There we go. Right, as I was saying about before Liam unfortunately disconnected there, I was saying about Liam. We've had in 2nd place there Neto Nascimento's jumped up there. Didn't see much of him in the qualifying sessions from what I believe, so it's good to see these found some race pace ahead of the first race tonight here.
Yeah, and the thing is, as I was saying earlier, NATO, of course, is a TPS regular. He's raced in a WSS with these guys. So, of course, the World Super Tech Series is based upon these cars. So, having that experience, realising what his competitors around him can do, and certainly what they're capable of, will really give him a mental advantage going into this race, and surely give his team some inside info.
Absolutely, will indeed. We're seeing a lot of personal bests at the moment through these warm-up sessions here as the clock ticks down to 0. With Jesper Talbot, James Johnson, Toby Davis and Luciano Marek also all trying to set green tyre sectors at the moment. Just waiting through as we go to the transfer onto the race session. The first 2 races here of the Interleague World Stock Car Finals. And we've now watched James Johnson, who's now coming to the end of his lap. Can he improve on his 1:19.127? After that, yes, he can, goes to 4th. So currently, 1st to 5th in terms of race pace, you could say, it is TouringProSeries. And now we've gone to the race session, so we're now going to go ahead and get this started now. So we're waiting for the last few cars to come through. We're going to hold with Jack Keithy, and we'll then go ahead and scroll through the grid in just a moment as the cars will then go off onto a manual formation lap. And we'll get the first of our 2 40-minute races here. And this is all to decide, out of all the leagues that are here, who've been invited to these World Finals, just which league overall are the best game stock car, Brazilian stock car races. You see there, front row as we head up towards the formation after just a moment. Clock's going to tick down in a couple of seconds. As soon as it hits 40 minutes, Jack Keithley will then roll off the grid, as he should in a moment. Unless my screen's frozen. No, there's still.
Nope, they just.
There we go.
he just likes to just wait there. Keep calm it down, boys. I'm just taking it easy.
Playing a few mind games before we get started here, but
He's just saving a bit of fuel, waiting those extra 5 seconds. So he didn't have to do an extra lap later on.
That's very true. But obviously, that's very true. But obviously, we know in any kind of race series, if these guys stay on the grid too long, of course, it's any temperature in the tyres, of course, at the end, of course, this is during the start of the formation lap, but at the end of the formation lap, of course, you lose the heat from the tyres and from the brakes, and also, of course, the longer you stand on the grid, the higher the engine temperatures go up, so you want to get these cars out there, getting some air into those engines to get them cool. But as we lead them round, let's go to the grid then as they stand off the pressure for this first race of the Stock Car World Interleague World Finals. So on the pole,
it's a mouthful, isn't it? It's a mouthful.
Yeah, there's a lot of words, a lot of long words to get through there, but we managed to get there. We'll do fine. We'll be all right. Jack Keithley heads the pole position for TouringProSeries, then ahead of Chris Butcher in second place. To go through this quickly, it's a fairly short lap at Curitiba. Third place, Mohammed Patel, and alongside him on row 2 is going to be Jesper Tolborg, and that is the first 4 lockouts. Then for FIBC is going to be Bruno De Carmo. Gabriel Bechtold is in 6th place on row 3. Row 4 is going to be Arthur Vieira in another FIBC car. Toby Davis in 8th place for TouringProSeries. 9th is Juan Janino, and I believe that's an RPM car. Alongside him, Daniel Majest. And then we've got James Johnson and Alain Thibault. And then we've got on row 7 Ezekiel Garatano and Luciano Marek, and then Lacombe Tellier. The rest of the stage, so you can see them quickly. Gejo, Gueranton, Mumish, Charrier, Melot, Ramos, Neto Nascimento, Moreo, Carlos Cunha, and Sergio Acquaroni is not going to race either. Alexandre Sene. And quickly, just if we can get to the front of the field here, as a legacy, Jack Keithley will lead them around in just a moment. I've been going for quite a while, but
yep, just rolling around the final corner, aren't they? They're getting ready to go, Scott. And we're about to go green in just a few seconds. Everyone's all pent up for the first race of the season. First race of the event. I'm getting excited. I think it's the whole season of these things. I wish it was. It'd be fantastic stuff, wouldn't it? And as they come towards the start-finish line now, the green flag is about to fly, and it flies now, and away from the grid they'll go. And they're not allowed to use push to pass also on that first lap. Away from the grid they go. It's a good start there from Chris Butcher and Jack Keithley. They're 1-2 as Torborg fans out also. Patel's holding the inside, the rear gunner for that TPS train at the moment. As they go into turn 1, Keithley leads from Butcher, and I think that is who's that? He's jumped up into that third place. Is that Bechtold? It is Bechtold. How on earth has he done that? Bechtold's gone from 5th to 3rd off in the background there. Oh, big impact from one of the SRE cars. Couldn't quite see what that was. We won't be able to catch it on the replay, unfortunately, but he smashed into the barriers very hard indeed. Butcher and Keithley are gapping Bechtold already. 0.7 of a second. Torborg 4th. Mohammed Patel is 5th. DeCarmo is 6th. Davis is in 7th. He's improved 1 position, and we see Zanino go back. So he was good qualifying. He's back to 12th. Look.
Yes, not what I want to see right now is he needs to try and push his limit forward there. You can see Mohammed Patel trying to chase down his TPS teammate. Yes, Patel, let's see what he can do here. There's such a tricky track to pass. It really is full of drafting opportunities and lone overtaking. Let's see though what Patel can do. The last thing you want to do is take your teammate out of a very good position. Of course, these guys will need to work together to try and take home that title and prove that TPS is the best of the round. But right now, there's got a bit of a contender there. Gabriel Bechtold currently holding 3rd position, doing a good job, and he's not really letting go of Chris Butcher, is he? He's still keeping them both under a second away from him.
The push to pass will now come into play also as well, so they get 8 push to passes a race as Chris Butcher almost goes to the back of Jack Keithley there. Jack Keithley has to take evasive action. What on earth Chris Butcher's doing quite there, I don't know. Just needs to calm down because he does not need to run into the back of his teammate. Jack Keithley gave him some room, then had to go through the grass in the end. We got Toby Davis making a move in the background, number 23 on Bruno De Carmo, trying to go into that 6th place into turn 5. Oh, he doesn't quite make it. De Carmo holds it around the outside. Brave stuff there from Bruno. So it's Keithley, Butcher, Bechtold, Torborg, Patel, De Carmo, Davis, Magest. As fast as you can say them. Thibault's come up to 10th, by the way, from 12th, so that's a good start from him.
Absolutely great stuff, and it seems to be at the moment that We've got
On
Bechtel.
Takamo, look at Takamo's challenging Mohammed Patel. Sorry to interrupt. Takamo and Patel going to go side by side into the fast S-bend. That's not a place where you go side by side through. Patel has to give way. And Toby Davis is off the track also. Toby Davis has gone back to 12th place, 13th place, 14th place. Where has Toby Davis gone to? 15th, 16th place. What's happened to him? Gone way down the field. Where on earth has he gone to? There he is.
There he is.
He's back in 17th, I believe. What on earth he was doing there, I've got no idea. Had no business trying to go and pass anybody there, and he's gone right off the track. He's back to, what is that, 17th? It's 19th. Deary me. 19th. We've got Nascimento out of the race already. So we had a good qualifying session first time around and a poor one next time around. Davis challenging one of the RPM guys into there. That's the number 32. That is Luciano Marek, as you can see on the scoreboard there. And he's got a lot of work to do now in the rest of the race.
He has indeed, and what I was mentioning just up at the front, it seems that Bechtel and Takamo seem to be the two cats amongst the whole tree of TPS pigeons, if you want to use the term, which I know that I forgot his name now. David Croft used earlier on in the Brazil broadcast of Formula 1, but never mind about that, because at the moment Thomas Butcher's just holding off. He seems to be the rear gunner at the moment for Jack Keithley. We're still seeing Toby Davis up at the back in amongst the RPM cars, and also we've got a couple of the sim racing evolution cars in front of him. I think, if you scroll through, that is actually going to be Steve Mumish and Christophe Charrier. So those two are trying to move through. Also, oh, was that Davis again? It is Davis.
Davis up again in the same place.
Yeah, what's going on with Davis? Another RPM going.
What on earth is he doing?
Davis.
This is really poor stuff from Davis so far. That's 2 laps in a row. That's very characteristic. And now he's back to 20th.
Messi's got a problem, or he's having real difficulty for that. It's a very fast section that S-bend going through there. He just hasn't got the setup down, and the car's bottoming out as he goes through that section, but not good so far. He's trying to repass cars. Ramos getting very squirrely under braking into the first chicane. And Davis, I think, I'd love to say if he's got the pass. Yes, he has, because my RRD viewer just froze for a second there, but apparently it's got going again. So Davis is now back up into what was 19th place.
The points are scored all the way down to 20th. For this event, the points there is points for this to decide the results really in the end as well. So we got down to 20th place. Oh, and off the track there, one of the RPM guys.
It was
Garitano.
Someone else is off as well. That's Charrier. Charrier's off into the barriers. I think that may have been.
He hit the barriers hard. Oh, that's a big hit. Charrier's out. Look, he's missing his wheel. Look, you can see from his aerial shot, he's missing his front left wheel. That's Charrier out. End of race for Christophe.
And I think that was him trying to avoid the RPM car. I think he swerved to try and avoid, because the Peugeot was trying to come across the track again. And as a result, I think that Charrier maybe just wasn't prepared and saw it unsighted. And of course, that's a free buy, of course, to Toby Davis to move up another spot and get him another couple of points. And as far as I can see, he's up to 18th place. He's managed to make up 1 place. Next target is going to be Ezekiel Garitano, who himself is having a look at Steve Mish down the pit straight. He's side by side. He's got 2 of his RPM teammates in front of him.
Straight pass, look at that. On the push to pass.
Easy straight line pass with the push to pass. So now he's going to join up and form an RPM trio with Luciano Marek and Maxi Gajo. I don't know, Gajo, sorry for mispronouncing the name.
It's alright.
And just ahead, they're now going to try and catch this, so try and work together to catch these two, which is Patrick Giranton and Jérôme Tellier in the 2 SRE cars. And then their teammate, Joan Savigno, is just ahead of them in 11th. But they really want to get back to the front and see what these guys are up to, and this is exactly what
it's close stuff, isn't it?
It has indeed. Here we've got Bruno Carmo, who's pressuring up 4th place Jesper Tolbo, of course our resident Kimi Raikkonen, if you like, at TouringProSeries. He doesn't say much, but he's a hell of a driver, and he's definitely proving it right now.
The top 2 are just pulling away. Look, Keithley and Butcher are pulling away from Gabriel Bechtel. They've got a 2-second lead over Bechtel, and I think Bechtel was a bit closer to Tolbo, just other way around, should I say, just a lap ago, and Tolbo may have had a go or a push a pass or something like that. But Tolbo now has dropped back from the back of Bechtel. He's in 4th place. We've got Patella in 6th. They're sandwiching Bruno De Carmo, who's in 5th at the moment for F1BC, representing Brazil.
Absolutely, and there goes Bruno De Carmo on the push to pass down towards turn 1, and a nice move up the inside. He takes himself into 4th place. He's now going to chase after Bechtel, as now he's going to be savaged, I think, by the 2 TPS cars behind him of Talbot and Patel. And I think Patel, as you said, very, very impressive. Of course, I've watched him race in both FSR and the World in the World Series, and of course in the World Championship, and of course in the Touring Car Series. It's a sim racing online Touring Car Series. So he's no stranger to Syntops. The fact that he's now moved to the something a bit more powerful rear-wheel drive with his Brazilian V8 stock cars, he's definitely showing his experience, because it seems to be these cars are very aerodynamic, but of course they're a bit heavier. We see their Talbot proving just how heavy they are. It's just getting very squirrely on the brake.
Come out wide, look at that. Dropping a wheel. It's dangerous stuff on this track, dropping a wheel outside one of those curves, they just drop off on you.
No, indeed, but look at these two up at the front. 1.7 seconds is the gap between these two up at the front, Jack Keithley and Chris Butcher, and third place Gabriel Bechtold. So at the moment, it seems to be that Bechtold and Decama really are sort of upstaging the TouringProSeries cars at the moment. Not that we're sour grapes or anything, but no, that at all.
But you would say upstaging, but they do still have two of them ahead of them, way ahead of them. So it's kind of a balance out there.
There is a good balance. Looking back, 7th place Daniel Majestic. That is Talborg on the inside of Decama into turn 1. Has a think about it, but he's not far enough alongside. So obviously it looks like he was too premature to hit the push to pass there, and didn't have enough straight line speed to pull us alongside the F1BC Peugeot. And of course then Patel just hanging back there in 6th place. Majest is currently in 7th. He's being tailed by James Johnson in 8th. Good run for James Johnson so far, with Alan Thibault and Artur Vieira. So it looks to me that it's the SRE cars definitely with the F1BC machines mixing it with the TPS boys.
And Torborg's gone past Decamo. Sorry to interrupt. Torborg has gone past Bruno Decamo. There we go. He's gone past him into turn 5 as Decamo comes back, and then once again Torborg trying to hold the outside. You can do that around here. You get the momentum, and now they're going to be side by side into that S-bend as well. We've seen this before, and it's ended in tears. It's been TPS on the outside last time round. It's Patel last time round. This time it's watching Torborg have the same problem, and Decamo holds him off.
That was a fantastic
Decamo.
It was a fantastic piece of driving. A lot of guts to keep that car on the inside through that S-bend. He's definitely managed to prove to Torborg that he wasn't going to back out of that at all. And now Talborg's going to reassess how he's going to pass here. He's got a great run out of the final corner, and the toe along with the push to pass, which I'm sure he'll use. And Decamo goes to the inside, but Talborg's actually just about keeping his car. I think about half in the toe, I suppose. I think
Decamo's going to push the pass in that. Oh, is he going to push the pass? Not quite sure. Can't quite tell. I think Decamo's going to push the pass in there at the moment, and Torborg does not. And Decamo goes deep. I think yes, he was used to push the pass, because it really does affect your speed, end of the straight, and then your braking zone as well. And Torborg right in behind. They can see the F1BC logo on the back of Bruno Decamo. Bruno Decamo proudly carrying that flag for Brazil at the moment. Bechtold also ahead of him is representing Brazil. Decamo's looking more and more ragged, it seems like to me.
Yeah, you saw the back end of the car just sliding around there, also trying to keep this car on the black stuff. But these cars, of course, they're big, they're heavy, but they're also, as I said, they're aerodynamic. Of course, they make a great sound with those big thundering V8 engines in them all. And so these things absolutely awesome to watch. As you guys have probably seen with the World Supertech Series, past couple of series we've had this year. Of course, the brand new series started last weekend, of course, at the Jacarepagua circuit, as you said, which is the second race, which is coming up here, the Curved Sol layout. Talborg here getting slightly closer again to the S-bend, a little bit on the grass on the exit. Now they're going to head through the final corner. It's a very long 180-degree corner, slightly banked, as you can see. And Talborg again hugs the inside line. Now we'll take the run once again. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another push to pass battle here. Decamo goes defensive, Talborg goes with him on the inside, and this time he's going to go to the outside now. Patel's going to try to go to the middle of them and observe these two and see exactly how it's done. And Talborg now is going to hold off. Now here comes Patel, I think, with the push to pass, but Decamo with the push to pass as well. He was on that button too, and he holds up the 4th place and just about gets it stopped for the chicane. And now they will start to stack up behind, because not only is Patel getting in there, but also 7th place Daniel Majestic is getting it, and also James Johnson. So he's not careful.
But despite all this battling, it's still Bechtold is not really pulling away from this group. I would have thought he would pull away quite a bit, but he's got a 6-second gap now to Keithley, whereas Butcher is 3 seconds. And Decamo goes too deep. We saw that coming, didn't we? We saw that a couple of laps previously, and he's gone deep again there. And that's where Torborg passed him last time around. Torborg needs to hold the inside here through this time again, not let Decamo pass, and he doesn't this time around. He learnt his lesson from the first time that particular move happened, and Torborg is back into that 4th place and now going to pursue Gabriel Bechtold and allows Patel onto the back of Decamo.
He does, and I did actually mention that, or I observed that whilst he was battling, they were still just closing in bit by bit on Gabriel Bechtold, of course. So the gap is only 0.7 seconds as Bechtold locked up into the final corner. You can see exactly just how much speed that's given, how much that's released to Torborg. Now he's got to get past Decamo. You have to watch here, the F1BC driver may have a push to pass him, but also so will Patel. He's now in the slipstream to try and get past the Peugeot. And at the moment,
Bechtold got defensive. Look at that. That's how much Torborg gained with the push to pass and the mistake by Bechtold into that final corner. Bechtold had to go defensive, and that's allowed Decamo to stick his nose. And Decamo looks fantastic on the brakes into that first corner, I must say. superbly late, and it's proven very, very difficult to pass. But it's that late braking is not helping into turn 5, of course.
Not at all. I'd love to tell you exactly what I was saying, but my RV viewers page is frozen up for a second, so hopefully that'll return for the moment. But Takama definitely doing the F1 BC League crowd at the moment. Definitely, as you said, getting in amongst the TPS boys. And of course, update on Toby Davis after his spin, his two whatever happened to him a couple of laps ago. He is now up to 15th place now after his spin. So he made up 4 spots since we last saw, well, 3 spots since we last saw him. Because of course, we had the retirement after one of the F1 BC cars went off the road, and that means he's now up to 15th place. Of course, he's just edging himself back up through the point standings, and hopefully he can get himself. I think he's aiming, of course. He's still got about 25 off.
Oh, in the background there, look at that. That's Thibaut off the track, was it? Thibaut was sideways. I'm pretty sure that was, maybe it was Maguest actually that was sideways. I think it was Maguest. He's back down to 9th, look. Yeah, Maguest definitely dropping back down the field and now down to 10th. So Maguest was the one who was sideways, and Bechtold is sweeping one way than the other, trying to hold off the 2 charging guys behind Carmo and Torborg. And now the Carmo's going to repass Torborg and go past Bechtold as well, shortly into the corner, first corner. There's contact, pushed over the curb. Bechtold jumps over there. Big impact there for Bechtold over that curb, and now Torborg has the inside on Carmo coming down towards turn 5. This is where Carmo's been so weak so far, but he cuts across this time around on Jesper Torborg. Looks like Carmo's running very low wing to me. Looks like to pull away on those straights. It's not helping, of course, in those corners, but of course that is a trade-off you have.
And of course, Kabama, the push to pass, it makes him an absolute demon on the straights, but the provided that Talbot can get a good run. Speaking of runs, look at this. Patel thinks he might have try to sneak up to the inside of his teammate there. That's Jesper Talbot putting off behind Patel. Great aerial shot here. You see these 3 dueling away. I'm going to a more nearer shot here to see them flash through the very fast chicane here. Look at this. Bechtold in the silver and black car at the front of the screen. He's on the grass.
Again, Bechtold off the track.
And he's just about got it there. That's him in the silver and black Chevrolet. Then just behind, of course, in the white and red Peugeot is Karma, and then the 2 white, red and black TPS Chevrolets. Of course, we've got Talbot and Patel. Coming down the straight again, it's pushed the pass off evidently all the way down the front straight here. Carmen, I think he's going to have a look up the inside again in for 3rd place. This is for the move into turn 1.
He looks very, very deep indeed. He looks far too deep, in fact, this time around. He's not! Look at that! He's so good at the brakes at that first corner. Is Bruno De Carmo. So good.
Excellent piece of braking. Obviously, seems to be running low wings. They don't seem to be slowing down too much, especially under braking, because that was an excellent piece of textbook overtaking from the Brazilian. Definitely managed to make a fantastic pass there. Now Talbot around the outside.
Oh, Bechtold sideways, look, he's done it!
He did.
He did it! Bechtold got sideways.
Bechtold got sideways, and that allowed Talbot to go right around the outside. So Bechtold has lost the link of the line a few corners. He's lost 2 spots, and off the 3rd to 5th. He may even lose 5th there also to Mohamed Patel, because he's right on the back, and also James Johnson is in there too. So 3 TPS cars definitely scrapping away with the best of the rest from the other game stock car leagues around. That is the whole point of this stock car Interleague World Final. And Takama a little bit sideways off the chicane there, and now once again it's Talbot once again looking to pass Takama. I'm pretty sure that the Brazilian is going to be sick of the sight of Talbot at the moment.
Talbot is looking very strong indeed in the around Bruno De Carmo. And we've got also in the background there, also number 17, that's Mohamed Patel, trying to make a move on Gabriel Bechtold, as Jesper Talbot tries to make a move on De Carmo. He's supposed to pass, straight pass. Thank you very much, Bruno. I'll take that 3rd place. Sick of you taking it away from me. Does Talbot make the corner? He does just about, as we see the excellent braking there. Once again, Bruno De Carmo is superb in there. His exit in the corner is not very good, but the braking in the corner is certainly superb. And Patel has also got a position as well. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 5 for TPS at the moment. Also we got James Johnson not far back from Bechtold. Bechtold continues to struggle. Johnson will get him also. Johnson has held off the attentions of Maguest, who made that mistake on the outside of the S-bend. And Johnson is up into that 7th place, and he's free to chase these guys now. The gap is down to 1.7 between those guys. It was around about 2 seconds before, so he is gaining on this group.
He is. Saw De Carmo that went a little bit deep into the hairpin there, and obviously that may give these 2 a chance to get onto the back of them. I think De Carmo must be getting exhausted. He's been doing so much battling with these guys here. He was thinking, just leave me alone for 5 minutes. Let me just catch my breath here. Of course, we've got about 20 left of it, so still plenty to go on here in this first 2 races here for these world finals here. And
almost halfway through the race, look. Almost halfway through the race. Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? As They come through and cross the line now. Once again, Patel is in 5th. This battle seems to have just calmed down a little bit. And what has Bechtold got? Has Bechtold got to push the pass they can use on Mohammed Patel? He's close, but not close enough, it seems like. So all status quo here. We've got Zanino and Vieira having a great battle in 8th and 9th at the moment. Zanino's passing Vieira on that straight, I believe. Maguest has also gone past. Where has Vieira gone? Vieira's gone off the track, in fact, actually. He's down to 15th.
There's a bit of body work went off there as well.
Oh, he's
lost a piece of
what on
body
earth has
work.
happened to Vieira?
Is that definitely a technical problem? Or is that? Oh, hold on.
That's
He's got
you.
that going again. So was that? Now that would
very
explain
strange.
to me that either he's had some kind of technical problem with his equipment, or he's possibly made an illegal pass or something and punted someone off, made contact with someone, and he's probably waiting to come back past again. That's the only other explanation.
Well, he was fighting with Zanino and Maguest, and you know those
Yeah.
guys are way ahead of him now. So he's definitely, if he was letting them back through, he's been a bit too zealous about that because now Davis is battling with the SRE guys. Look, trying to get past them once again, trying to get back into that top 10.
Definitely, Davis did a fantastic job piece. Now on the inside of Jerome Taylor, there's a little bit of contact. I saw a piece of bodywork fly off there, one of his SRE cars, but Toby Davis having a storming drive back up through the field. He was down at 1.19. Now he's definitely getting back up there. As now we see Guéranton trying to get up the inside of the TPS driver, but Davis holding back. I think his attention is more focused on the SRE car in front of him. Super Alexia onto the final corner. Pulls out to the inside. Oh, looks like that was getting a bit too close. I thought he almost made contact. Down towards the pit straight. Toby Davis is now going to get back into the toe. Wasn't that far enough alongside. Now this time he's got the move down into turn 1, under brakes. A little bit of a lock up on the inside. Well, went a little bit too deep. But he's just
got back across. That was scary stuff.
So 10th place there, back into the top 10 for Toby Davis. Next target is going to be Daniel Maguest, although that said, Tellier is not finished yet. He wants that 10th place back. I think he's going to go to any means necessary, of course, within reason, to try and get that pass back. Davis holds the inside line, there's contact. Oh, bit of a shove in the rear then from Jerome Tellier.
He was just helping him along there.
He's always saying, come on Toby, get on with it. I want to run my race too as well. So, but Davis then holding 10th now, and let's see exactly what he can do. And look at that! Tellier, it's so late under brakes, almost hit the back of Davis again. This is now allowed Guéranton to get up the inside once again as they head now. We're now into the second half of the race. There's 17.5 minutes left of this first race. Of course, we're here at Curitiba for this race. Still got Jacarepagua to go in this race now. But and Davis again. He doesn't like that chicane. The exit of that chicane. That's another time I've seen him go off there. At least get a bit out of shape. But Davis then 10th place. Next target's going to be Maguest. He's 1.8 seconds up the road. I think at this rate he'll catch him pretty quickly.
Yeah, indeed he will. Davis has been pushing very hard recently, of course, after making a few mistakes earlier on. So it's nice to see him trying to race back. But the thing is, though, how much has he left himself to do? His teammates are way out the road. You can see that Jack Keithley holds a 5-second lead now over teammate Chris Butcher. It's a TPS 1, 2, 3, 4 with Bechtold in 5th. But the question is, can they make it a top 5? How can Davis get into P5 by the time that timer hits 0? He's got 16 minutes, and of course James Johnson will be the logical man to make that feat possible. He's currently 6th, around 2 seconds behind Bechtold. So keep an eye on Johnson. He's had a great race so far, but the question is though, Scott, can anyone else from any of the other teams, maybe like some of the SRE or F1 teams, maybe actually get in there into that top 5? I mean, Bruno's not too far away, neither is Juan Dunya.
That's true. In terms of SRE, if those guys want to actually get closer to the top 5, they're going to have to stop scrapping amongst themselves and watching still here. Tellier and Guéranton having a bit of a ding-dong here as they still battle now in the wake of Toby Davis, who of course is now starting to charge towards Daniel Maguest. Now the gap's down to 1.5 seconds, and behind us a little bit of a battle going on here between Luciano Marek for RPM and another SRE car. That's of Alan Thibault, or Thibault, or however you say his name. Apologies for that. And as in typical fashion, my RD viewer has frozen once again. It will catch up in a second. But so far it seems to be that TPS are running the show so far, with Jack Keithley and Chris Butcher pretty much in the class of their own. I mean, I see that Tolborg is only about 2.5 seconds back. Matt Butcher's now reduced the gap by another 10th or so, so it's 5 seconds covers the first two, with Talborg a further 1.8 seconds back. So really at the moment it seems to be that right now TPS are the strongest league overall out there. I think Davis definitely wants to get it up there, because I reckon that if they can pull off a first to sixth whitewash of points-wise, I think definitely that's going to put them in an immensely strong position and put them immediate favourites to wrap things up come the second week later on at Jacarepagua. We've seen here Juan Juninho, car 37 there for RPM, Peugeot, just ahead of Daniel Majest, and of course David is recovering after his earlier couple of spins, so all the way down to 19th place, and he's put on a real charge to get himself back up into the top 10. Of course, points go the way down to 20th, and we've got a battle going on between, that's Patel and Bechtold. Patel goes over the grass, and Bechtold gets back through, so that means now that Bechtold is into 4th place. So Bechtold is now the cat amongst the TPS pigeons. He's really giving it a good go here down towards turn number 4. So Patel is all over the back here of Bechtold, definitely giving him a good run for his money so far. But at the moment, it was looking like it was going to be a perfect result for TPS. It's now changing so that it's going to be now Bechtold has something to say about that, as Johnson is now going to be lurking 6th place behind. There he is in the background there, car 21. The rest of the Touring Pro Series cars, but this is kind of both the main battle on the track right now. This is now the battle for 4th. It's Bechtold there in the silver and black car, ahead of the Patel car number 17 of the Touring Pro Series. The Dawn car of Patel very sideways. How did he catch that? Great car control, great reflexes there from Patel to keep that car on the black stuff. He almost lost it, and I reckon that's possibly exactly how Toby Evans lost it twice in a row there. It's a very fast, a very bumpy and unstable section of the track there. So you really have to pick your line properly, otherwise if not you'll find yourself spearing off into the barrier, or at least onto the grass on the outside of the track there. 13 minutes, just under 13 and a half minutes to go here then in this first race. And Patel is down to 4th place. Bechtold rocked up in front of him, managed to get the car stopped in time. Bruno Carmo's dropped back to 7th, he's just in the background, he's 16.8 seconds off the lead. He himself is about 9 seconds or so ahead of his teammate Juan Juninho with David Majest. And then we've got Toby Davis, who has actually closed the gap right the way in 10th place. He's closed the gap now to 4 tenths of a second rather, but behind a great 4-car scrap developing with 3 SRE cars, Gironton, Tellier and T-Bolt, with Luciano Marek trying to get into the action too as well. So these 4 battling away like crazy. Gironton currently heads the quartet. Tellier going a little bit deep. You can see there just Marek trying to go around the outside of T-Bolt behind these 2. SRE, this will definitely do them a good job in terms of points, but you've got to be careful they don't take each other out, because that is the worst possible scenario. You do not want to take one of your team members out. Of course, that is definitely going to harm your chance of any points.
Yeah, especially when there's 3 of you as well. I mean, 3 out of your 4 drivers all right next to each other, and they're leading that quartet as well. As you said, they've got to be careful right now. The last thing they want to do, they've got a good chance of bringing home some good midfield points today. The last thing they want to do is throw that away and hand it to one of the RPM cars.
Definitely. I'm pretty sure that Marek behind is probably just sat there just thinking, go on, scruff amongst yourself boys, I'll be able to pick up the pieces when you eventually make a mistake, which you will. And this could be possibly interesting. We've got T-Bolt here, got a decent run, but look at this Marek now going to the outside. He's now going to grab the toe from Terrier, and I think he's got it. So he's got past 1 SRE car. Will he try and get past the second one before the end of the straight? And the answer to that was no, there's contact in front. That was Gironton hit by Tellier. And who was that? That was Gironton's now gone for that. He's lost 3 spots in the space of 1 move, and that was all due to his teammate outbraking himself. And I told you that was going to happen. If you just weren't careful, they were going to hit each other, and that's exactly what's occurred. So now it's Tellier leading this group, but now we've got, that is T-Bot trying to get the inside of Marek, get a little bit of contact. They're side by side, and I think that T-Bot's got the place almost. Marek's not going to give it up through the S-bend here. But these guys, SRE, I thought they were more sensible than that to make contact, but it just seemed to be that Tellier just lost it under braking and hit the back of his teammate. Disaster.
Yeah, and just like we predicted as well, and Marek's just going to be loving life right now. He's almost pushing himself in towards that top 10. He's got 2 of them dispatched already, and he's just got 1 to go. So just like that, in the space of a lap, he's already got rid of half of the team there, really, hasn't he? So 1 more to go, and he's just outside the top 10. Then the next man, who's 8 seconds down the road, is Toby Davis, who's slowly pressuring the chest now. He's around 2 seconds away at the moment. We'll watch that as it unfolds later on. But just as we predicted right now, though, it still looks like James Johnson is 2 seconds away from Bechtold, and Bechtold is going to be said is doing a sterling job right there. Right now, the only driver to break that kind of TPS dominance. So I wonder what he can bring to in race 2, but you've got to remember, Scott, as well, that a few of these drivers will maybe heavily more practice for that one. And when cars are more suited to that, we may see a few shot performances there.
We may do indeed, but the focus attention right now is here. Toby Davis in 10th place, and what you've been watching is what's going on directly ahead of him. This is the battle for 8th place here between Juan Janino and Daniel Majest. It's exactly the same scenario we had with Marek watching the 3 SRE cars. He knows that if these two get together, any kind of mistake these two make, he can just slip up past both of them, and that'll be an easy 2 spots into 8th place. And of course, then he's got to try and catch in less than 10 minutes. Bruno De Carmo in 7th, and the gap between De Carmo and Zanino is roughly, I'd say, about 9, just over 9 seconds. So really, unless Davis is putting a blistering pace, which at the moment he's not really closing too much. In fact, he was pretty close. He was as close as 4/10 at one point. He's dropped back a little bit. Maybe he's possibly trying to just preserve his tyres and get this car to the end of the race. But we'll have to wait and see. So far, it is now still a TPS 1, 2, 3, 4 up at the front. Still cleanly leading from Butcher in 2nd. Talborg sat in 3rd with Patel 4th. Gabriel Bechtold is preventing a clean sweep of the top 5. He sits in 5th ahead of James Johnson. And then, of course, we've got Bruno De Carmo, Juan Janino, and of course Majest and Toby Davis. And as it seems to be the norm at the moment, my RIDVO has decided to freeze itself, which means I'm looking at the back of Toby Davis's car in a static shot. Hopefully this will get to sort itself out and I'll be able to see what's going on again. But I'll have to restart RIDVO in a second, but we'll do that in a moment. But interestingly enough, so TouringProSeries, there we go, just as I say that, it's come back again, so there we go. So this means now, as we're looking, Majest is still trying to get himself past Daniel with Juan Janino. You just know that these two scrap each other, it's going to be just the break that Davis needs. Gap is now only 1.2 seconds, now it's still 1.2 seconds in fact. And these three all together, they're as much as 33.5 seconds back to the leaders, so that's just how much pace there is. Davis again getting a little bit out of shape on the exit of the chicane there. Really not a corner he's enjoying. Have to see get his thoughts exactly what he thinks of that. And they head onto the pit straight again. Nice run here from Majest down the pit straight. This is his chance for 9th place here, and the scrap here will definitely benefit Davis if anything happens. But wait and see with bated breath then. Down towards turn 1, Majest has the inside run, moving ever so slightly more to the inside line, and he takes the place. Lovely piece of driving there, a little bit of body contact, slight piece of bodywork off there you saw on the left hand side. But Majest is through up to 8th place, and Janino is going to be very keen, as is ever from the chicane. When someone gets past here, they're always very keen to get back past, and it's this straight now down towards turn 4. We'll get the toe, maybe if he's safe to push the pass, he might just use it down towards the run here through turn 4. Majest seems to he has it, so that's him through, and he's now at least 1 spot ahead of Toby Davis, so of course he's trying to get away from him, and I'm pretty sure that the rate Davis is going may catch up by the end of the race, but I'm pretty sure he will. Nino once again trying to poke his nose up the inside as they go for the infield section up towards the S-bend. This sequence of corners that Toby Davis doesn't really particularly seem to be a fan of. And they head through, and Zanino once again trying to get his nose up the inside again, a little bit over the curbs as they head through. And how is the exit looking to be clean? And now look at this, that Davis has taken advantage. He's found at least a trick in the setup here, or how he takes that corner, because he's closed right up onto the back on the RPM Peugeot. And of course now, while this is going on, Majest can say, see you later boys, you can scrap amongst yourselves, I'm off to try and catch Bruno De Carmo. But of course he's only got less than 7 minutes to go now, and I think it's probably going to be short-lived, but I think Davis is probably going to at least have a chance. But look at this, great straight line speed. On RIDVO froze for a second, so I missed it completely, apologies for that, but look at that, in the space of 1 straight, he's gone from 10th to 8th. So Davis absolutely on a charge here with just over 6 minutes to go in this first race. Now the question is, it's a 12-second gap between him and De Carmo. I think that's probably a gap too big for Toby. So 8th place, I think at least these teammates will be happy with that. I'm sure Toby would have wanted more, but of course the mishaps early on in the race. Now looking back to see exactly what's going on at the front, you can see, look at this, Bechtold and Patel still not done, and look at James Johnson that's sidling up off the back of them. So towards the final corner now, and Bechtold tries to dummy him towards the final corner, but Patel's wise to it, having absolutely none of it whatsoever. And they head on to the pit straight again. Patel, Bechtold and Johnson all together now. This is 4th, 5th and 6th. Bechtold again and the slipstream. Patel goes defensive. Here comes Bechtold onto the outside. The silver and black car behind. He's hidden behind Patel's car, just hiding, waiting for his moment to pounce. Here it comes then, down towards turn 100 brakes. Will he go around the outside? Oh, slight touch to the wall, and the under brakes there. Very screwed the brake in. Patel goes over the grass. Patel goes over the grass, but holds the fourth place for the moment. Bechtold is now going to get up the inside now, down the run towards turn 4. And he's definitely giving everything he's got here. Bechtold is going to maybe have a go again on the inside, as he's think that was DeCarmo lagging a little bit in the background. And Patel is doing everything he can to try and get past. I'm going to quick scroll through the standings here to see exactly who we've lost. Arthur Vieira, Christophe Charrier, Neto Nascimento, and Thomas Lacombe. That's rather unfortunate. We've had those 4 guys retire, and Bechtold gives Patel a shot. Another piece of carbon fibre goes walkabout. You see it there bouncing around in the background. And look at Johnson now. He's taking real advantage, and I've said this many times in all the sim race broadcasts I've done. The half of 2 cars in front fight each other, the easiest it's going to be for the guys behind to take advantage. Johnson right on the ragged edge, that kicks a bit of dust. They head through the final corner back on the pit straight, and now it's advantage Johnson. He'll have the great run onto the pit straight, but of course remember Bechtold, he'll maybe have saved to push the pass, and of course he'll try and get the toe for Patel, who's trying to break that toe down the pit straight. Bechtold in a TPS sandwich down the pit straight towards the first corner again. And how's this going to play out? Well, Bechtold's going to go to the outside. Johnson's not far enough alongside her, he's down the inside, leaves enough from, and Johnson goes straight through, and look at that, Patel's again gone over the grass once more. And that Johnson has now suffered a switchback from Bechtold. He's now gone back through, and they're back where they started before the first chicane. So it's all going off here for 4th place. The leaders are basically, they're about 10 seconds ahead of these, 8.8 seconds ahead of these guys. Keithley still leads, Butcher still 2nd, Talbot still 3rd. So we'll have to keep an eye on this race if anything changes, but this is the major battle. Best of the rest immediately behind the podium places as they head through. Patel locks up, Bechtold is just backing into Johnson now as they head back towards this very fast S-curve towards the final corner once again. 3 minutes and 18 seconds left on the clock for this first race. They've covered 27 on lap 27. So a pretty short lap here at Curitiba. And again, this Patel here is literally looking in his mirrors every single second, glancing in his rearview mirror to see where he is. But also now Bechtold's going to be doing exactly the same for Johnson. And the TPS guys are really going to try and go to town on Bechtold here. They're going to try and pressure as much as they can. But for the moment, Bechtold is the one doing the pressuring down to pit straight once again. How much pushing past have these guys got left? Have they saved them enough for the end of the race? We'll have to find out, wait and see. Johnson goes for wide. Now Bechtold goes to the outside. Will he go around the outside and outbrake it? Patel down towards the chicane. And no, Patel holds it for 4th place for the moment. I thought for a second he'd outbraked himself, but he hasn't. As they head on to the back straight once again then. So out of turns 1, 2 and 3. And Patel, look at that, immediately goes to the inside to defend. He knows exactly what Bechtold's thinking. He's thinking he's going to go to the inside and try and make the pass. And Patel is having absolutely none of it. Into turn 4 once again. Johnson is just watching and waiting as his teammate holds off a very feisty Gabriel Bechtold down towards the braking zone for the hairpin here in the infield section. And they're so close, 1, 2, 3, you can almost throw a blanket over them here, they're so close. Down towards the S-curve again then, 2 minutes exactly on the clock, so that's probably about another, say this lap, another one I think. Of course, it's pretty much, the clock will strike 0 of course, and when it does it with the last lap, obviously, is again, get very out of shape towards the final corner. And then as close as you like, there's more contact, Bechtold gets a little bit sideways, bit of a concertina effect there as Bechtold hit the back of Patel, backed off, and now Bechtold's gone wide onto the grass. This now gives Johnson the running knees down towards turn 1. He gets the toe for Patel. That's incredibly smart from the two TPS drivers down towards turn 1, and Johnson's got it. Bechtold now backing the toe to try and get back past into 5th place. So now it is, in fact, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for TPS. So there's a little bit deep into the first corner. And just quickly pull away, because whereabouts is Keithley on this final lap here? On the final lap. Now then, Keithley is already in the infield section. Here he is, car 22. We haven't seen him pretty much for most of the race. Coming up to lap, I can't quite see who that is. Quickly see who that is. And apologies for putting the names on screen. That is, I can see who is in front. It's one of the SRE cars. It's Moomish in front. There's Butcher in 2nd. There's Patel trying to. There's Talbot trying to tell on 3rd. Then the Trobson trio, and where's Bechtold? Bechtold's dropped back. There must have been some contact somewhere. Apologies if you missed that, but Bechtold is down to 6th, and now also into the clutches of Bruno DeCarmo, who's really closing in at an immense rate. As we see here, that is Butcher negotiating the back markers, but here comes Jack Keithley. He's on the final lap here with 30 seconds to go. This time round will be the final lap because of course the clock will hit 0. He's now heading on to another one of the SRE because there is still Moonmish in front. But now here's something intriguing. What's going to happen here? The two TPS guys, are they going to, they'll be talking to each other constantly over the radio, over TeamSpeak, and I think that these guys will want to try and hold station, or will they want to race towards the end of the race? Well, Johnson goes to the outside, Patel holds the inside run. I think these guys are going to be sensible and at least hold this car, hold these positions towards the end of the race, because TPS will definitely take positions 1 through 5. They'll definitely hold it. Hold on a second, am I seeing things? Because Davis is back down to 9th. So what's going on here? And he has been passed. This is the last lap then, so we've got battles to watch all the way down through the field. Davis is now lost 8th place to Majest. So whilst we're watching the battles between 4th, 5th and 6th, there's been a position change here. Davis then is going to try and get himself back up another place once again. And the battle between these two, the TPS cars, is going to go off in a second. But we're watching here then. He's going to head onto the pit straight here, and he will be the privileged one of taking the first race of this stock car Interleague World Final. He takes the victory there for Touring Pro Series, and it's going to be Chris Butcher in second, and Tolborg will make it a 1-2-3 sweep on the podium. And just to sweeten the deal, sweeten the result just a little bit more, it's going to be 4th and 5th to make it a top 5 lockout for Touring Pro Series. Here they come then. Patel grabs 4th, Johnson 5th. And 6th place will be Beckdahl, 7th we're going to come and close at the end but couldn't quite get it, and looks to be it's going to be 8th place then. It's going to be for Majest. Davis is going to close. He tried his best, going back from 19th, massively sideways on the exit of the corner. You can see just how hard he was trying. Majest takes it from Davis just at the line, almost. How close was that? Look at that, they're pretty much dead even over the line. And across the line they go. Juan Janino rounds up the top 10. Of course, points go down to 20th, so 11th place across the line is going to be Alan T-Bolt. 12th place is then going to be across the line Jerome Tellier on their SRE car coming across the line now. That is going to be Giralton, and the rest of the field will come through then. So across the line then goes Marek and Garatano. That's the two Argentinians, and another RPM Peugeot across the line, and that is Geho. Maxi Geho, and the rest of the cars will come through because they've been lapped. So let's round up the positions then of the first race here at Curitiba. And here we go, and it is going to, of course it is Jack Keithley with the victory then from Chris Butcher in second, Jesper Tolborg in third, Patel 4th and James Johnson 5th, making it a Touring Pro Series lockout on the top 5. What a fantastic result, they'll be absolutely over the moon with that. Then 6th, Gabriel Beckdahl for RF1 Brazil. 7th is going to be Bruno Carmo. 8th is going to be Daniel Majest. 9th, Toby Davis and Juan Janino rounding out the top 10. So that's the first race then here at Curitiba. We're going to do a quick server change of thoughts and go to the second race at Jacarepagua. So stay tuned for us, and we'll be back with our next race of the evening. But there we go. Touring Pro Series back out the top 5. Stay tuned for race 2. Okay, so we're just taking a little very quick break here, whilst the server has now jumped across to our second venue, which of course is the Jacarepagua circuit, the Curva Sol layout. And get the thoughts of the guys up here in the booth. So guys, absolutely fantastic first race, of course, here at Curitiba. And have to admit that TouringProSeries looking absolutely top form with the top 5 positions swept there. Bit of a disappointment that Toby Davis couldn't get any higher than 9th at the end, almost took 8th on the line. But at the moment, they're looking pretty favourites to sweep the series with a few decent results here at the second race.
Oh, they are indeed, and if Jack keeps these paces anything to go by, then this qualifying session should really see him shine once again. But it's got to be said though, it's not just a one-man team, and that definitely showed with the rest of the guys coming in very good positions. As you said, it was unfortunate for Toby Davis, and he'll be looking to really turn his fortunes around, try and get himself up there with the rest of his team. But there were some impressive performances from the other teams out there. It's got to be said that they're not completely alone. They did see some challenge on this race. It wasn't all dominance all the way through. Except for Keithley, there were some scary moments for them, but we'll see what can happen during race 2.
And of course, one thing we have to remember, of course, is that really I think the TPS guys will be going into this race here at the Jacarepagua with something a bit of a wry smile, with some wry smiles on their faces, because of course, you know, here at TouringProSeries, the World Supertech Series, they've just had the races at Jacarepagua, so the guys like, you know, Toby Davis and Mohammed Patel and Jesper Talbot, those guys will have already raced here, of course, just recently. So those guys are going to be the ones probably the best possible chance of getting some really decent lap times because they've had the track time most recently. So I think those guys probably feel they're maybe best prepared to once again get one over the fellow leagues that they're racing against.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, if you remember back to the World Supertech Series race, for those of you who watched it, it was complete THR dominance. I mean, the guys who were in that team, of course, were Jesper Tolberg, Toby Davis and Chris Butcher. All three of them ended up in very, very good positions. It was a THR 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe, during race 2. So they definitely know what it's like to win round here with a field of nearly 40 drivers. So you halve that, and then they've got a really good chance today. It's a very technical circuit, it's on very fast flowing, and it's a circuit which I think suits TPS drivers very well.
Most definitely. I'm going to quickly just go ahead and pop my page on screen here. So there we go, looking at currently at Jerome Tellier in currently 5th in the standings. He hasn't set a time yet. Currently the TPS guys are the ones the eager beavers of the pit lane so far, because they've got 4 of their drivers out there already. We've got Butcher, Patel, Keithley and Johnson all setting times, and look at that, how consistent is that? That's fantastic, because they've all got them pretty within 2/10 of each other in the first few. And there's green sectors everywhere, as you've got Patel green in sector 2 and as is Johnson and Keithley in sector 1. So noticing here the SRE boys, they're just, you know, that's the extreme time warning technique, or they all think they can block. I mean, they've got the livery on the car, but definitely some extreme sideways action there from these guys. So these French guys definitely know how to cut the Brazilian V8 stock car sideways, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I wonder how that will suit them during the race as well. But at the moment, it's definitely looking strong with TBS again, isn't it? 1, 2, 3 and 4. And it's barely even started. And oh, of course, this is still a bit of a wind down session for them, of course, from the last race. Bit of time to get used to the circuit and just maybe get used to the car as well. Maybe a completely different setup here. So as opposed to having a high downforce, we'll have a relatively low downforce setup and see what happens. I mean, Patel looking like he's in the zone at the moment. He's 3,000 of a second quicker than his previous time, so still be close though between the TPS guys. Just look at them, an 11.60 and 11.62, and there goes to bolt up there into 3rd place with a 1:11.7, but very close times already in that top 4. If this transpires into quality and indeed race pace, we're going to see a very close race on our hands.
It's going to be a very fast and frantic qualifying session, that is for sure. So looking through the warm-up here, also we've got the next couple of minutes, so of course we're going to transfer to the warm-up session, I thought, but going through into the qualifying session, as we said, the TPS guys think will have the advantage going into qualifying, but looking back on race 1, we had some pretty impressive drives out there. I thought that Gabriel Bechtold definitely managed to mix it up there with the TPS guys as well, and also for the most part Bruno De Campo. Obviously Bruno De Campo, sorry. He was those who definitely seem to get in amongst the TPS guys for the most part of the race, and they seemed that De Campo just fell back a little bit, whereas Bechtold was definitely able to get stuck in a battle with the likes of Johnson and Patel in that race so far. I've noticed that Liam has jumped out, so unfortunately with myself at the moment, and my RRD view is also frozen, so it's not really, obviously at the moment, not looking fantastic, but we'll struggle on, see what we can do. So at the moment...
Well, I'm back. I'm back.
Aha!
Apologies for RRD closing down. Not quite sure why it's done that. Try restarting it for you guys. I missed the results of that race. Fill me in there, Scott. Remind all the viewers what the results of the first race were.
Well, I think you're very pleased to know, Ryan, that it was a TPS lockout on the top 5. So it
top
was
5. Wow.
Top 5, absolutely. It was top ahead now. It was Keithley took the victory from Butcher second. It was I can't remember that. Tolborg was third. Patel and Johnson crossed the line together in 4th and 5th. As for Toby Davies, he was 8th, but then he just lost out to Majestic, I think, in the last couple of laps, and he just lost it, and he almost got it on the line. They missed it. They practically went side by side across the line for 8th, but it was Majestic 8th and Toby Davies 9th. And the rest of the drivers in that in the top 10, I believe it was Gabriel Bechtold was in there somewhere in 6th, and we also had Bruno De Carmo and also Juan Janina were in there too. So definitely some great racing so far. In there as well, so there was a lot going on, lots of battling going on right in the field. Great scraps going on for 4th place, and some of the SRE boys were definitely having some inter-team squabbles as well on track too. So a lot of fun in that first race, and we were mentioning that just now, of course, that with TPS, of course, having just gone. Just to get your thoughts on it here, Ryan. With the World Super Tech Series, of course, which is our version of Brazilian Beta Stock Car Series here on TouringProSeries. Obviously coming to Jacarepagua, we've just had the first race of course series at this very circuit, this very layout. So of course, you have to suggest that obviously on the back of that fantastic result for TPS, I see Jaguar just getting very sideways off the exit of the corner there, and that was a TPS car on the side of the road. That was car 21. So forgive my memory exactly who that is, but you have to admit that obviously off the back of the fantastic result at Curitiba, the TPS guys are going to be in a strong position because those guys will have recently raced here at Jacarepaguá.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
These guys are going to be pretty much in a prime position.
You believe so, definitely, and it's more of a level playing field, of course, at Curitiba with the top 5. We've got a top 5, which is a fantastic result. I'm so proud of the guys for that. Really very good indeed. And top 4 lockout in qualifying also. But it's a different kettle of fish. It's a very much tighter circuit. It's a very different circuit, isn't it? Very flat, a little bit shorter as well, a bit slower corners, and plenty of. There's more room for contact this particular track, and not so much room for slipstreaming. So, with the packs, they're less likely to get away in the packs. So if you're a driver off the edge of a pack, then you've actually got a chance of fighting back with them because they're likely to fight a bit more, and the slipstream is not quite as big of an issue. But once again, we've got the 8 push-to-passes will be reset here. 8 push-to-passes every 2.5 minutes they come in, and you can use those for 10 seconds and an extra 80 brake horsepower. Chris Butcher around the final corner. He actually won the second race, didn't he, in the World Super Tech Series opening round. And Chris Butcher's going to cross the line, and it's going to be a banker lap 11, 2, 4, 5, 7. We'll probably be looking for a bit of a better lap time than that to take him through, as a Keithley goes 11, 1, 3, 5, a 10, 5 I think was, 10, 6 was a pole position in the WSS opening round. We actually, also as well, we're actually missing our top 2 drivers from our last championship for the TPS, so it's not a full strength lineup here. We're missing Talamise and Nielsen, and also Wiesenmüller as well, who was well placed in that particular series. So that's we're not exactly at perfectly full strength, but still, it was a great performance.
He was. You see Chris Butcher trying to stamp his authority in this qualifying session already. He's already done a purple first second sector, I think. And Talbot has gone 16 thousandths of a second quicker than anyone else in the first sector. Butcher is still up by half a tenth, so it looks to me that Keithley's fastest time at the moment probably going to be Duke, but Keithley's going to respond and goes 800th of a second quicker in sector 2. So the top 3 definitely having a great scrap at the front, and the good thing of course for us, Ryan, is that of course it's a 1, 2, 3 and it's all TPS cars. Butcher goes second. Look at that, 800ths of a second off pole position. Keithley comes across the line here. And how does he improve? He does. Wow.
10-9. There you go.
9. First time we've seen that happen so far.
Yes, we're 11-0. Look.
And that's fantastic. And actually, just do a comparison. Forgive me, I watched the broadcast, but I watched some of the broadcast. I didn't actually catch the poll time. Did anyone in qualifying in the World Super Tech Series get into 1 minute 10s at all? Or is that the first?
It was a 10.6 was the pole position from Jack. In fact, so it's actually slower than that. But that, of course, will be expected because they've just been lapping around Curitiba. They come here, they've got 4 minutes of prep time, and then suddenly you're qualifying. So you know that's to be expected, to be honest. That they're a little bit slower, a few tenths off what they would be in the series, but rather than having the 2 hours or whatever warm up, you know, to get into the groove as you did at the opening round of the Super Tech Series. So to be expected that they're a few tenths off.
Absolutely, but I'm pretty sure these guys will have more than willingly taken the setups that they used in the Super Tech Series and applied them here. Cause I'm pretty sure that's just some quick.
Lots of purple sectors as well from the TPS guys. Look at that, Keith Butcher and Toby Davis, all purple so far. Let's go up to them since they're on laps at the moment, rather than we aren't going to favour them too much. Second place there, Chris Butcher improves to a 10.9 also. Jack Keithley's running to the line, trying to get a bit of a draft from the SRE guy. 10.670. There you go. So that's Jack Keithley to 10.670.
So he's practically matched what he did in qualifying, and of course his pole time when he was racing the World Super Tech Series. So definitely showing his consistency. He's a talented little lad, is Jack Keithley, and obviously he's definitely showed that. Of course, he is of course the brand new FSR World Series champion, of course, this year with Precision. So good to see. It's good to see just in general, just to talk about these new teams coming. It's good to see the likes of Precision and of course now Twister Racing coming into Touring Pro Series. It definitely seems to me that you know it's starting to attract a lot more high-profile teams. And of course, before, of course, Precision were only really running as a kind of collaboration with THR. Now they've kind of gone and said, okay, we're actually going to go ahead and actually run a team fully ourselves. I think really they can do that now, I suppose, at this point at the moment, because of course they're finished with FSR for the season. They haven't got to do any more prep, of course, until probably about January, February time when they've got to run again for FSR 2013. So they can go ahead and at least have some fun and keep their hand in racing-wise, sim racing-wise, and going to have some fun here with us at Touring Pro Series. I think we're very privileged to have not only them, but of course Twister involved as well, of course, because not only are they a prominent force, and they've been a prominent force in FSR as well, but of course they've also done some very good things in the iRacing Pro World Open Wheel World Championship Series as well, so with the Williams F1 car. So definitely attracting some high-profile teams. I think that's definitely helping, proving that the Touring Pro Series is going from strength to strength.
And James Johnson goes up into 7th. Toby Davis also improved on his lap. He went to 4th place. Olmegesco up into 10th. DeCarmo didn't quite improve there. Is now still in 11th place. Teller's in 5th. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment in qualifying this time around for the TPS guys. Vieira is still in 6th place. What can he do? He must be out on track at the moment. Vieira. Let's have a look at him if we can. There he is out on track at the moment. So he is not on a green sector at all. So unless he's got a great final sector here, then he won't be improving his time as he comes across the line now, and it's 11.6 still, so 3 tenths off his best time, and still in 6th place for him. Is Nascimento on a lap? He is, but he's not going to improve in this lap. 2.4 seconds down in that particular sector. 8th is James Johnson. 9th is Alain Thibault. So he's starting a new lap also. Here is McGuess. He's also going to start a new lap. That's not going to be a fast time for him. He's 1 minute 13. Not got to the first sector yet, so there we go for that. People are just gearing up for the final few minutes of qualifying here. 2 minutes to go.
Absolutely.
And that's Gaho. There he is.
He's on
the PB.
I think that's Majest and someone else.
So Gaho's on the PB. He may improve here. He's got a 10th and a half on himself, which may bump him to 9th. Oh no, he decided he didn't like that lap. He come back to the 5th. So that's a shame for Maxi. He goes straight back out once again. People are able to get just a couple more laps in here, it seems. And Nascimento also on a PB at the moment. In 7th place at the moment he is. At the moment he is. Sound like Yoda there. And he's got a bit of traffic as well with the RPM guys ahead of him. Number 35, that's Mario. And Nascimento's going to have his lap completely compromised here. He's only 3 tenths off Jack Keithley, but he's going to be 11.0 probably at the best at this rate. Although he might get a bit of a slipstream off Bechtold ahead of him. That might help him. Toby Davis has gone purple. Jesper Torbo's gone green. Nascimento's gone green. And Nascimento drives to a line. It's level 1. He does improve to 5th. Torbo goes to 2nd. Torbo to 2nd.
Davis is on a purple sector as well. I didn't see exactly what sector it is, but Davis must be the first sector. The second sector I think coming up right now.
He's still purple, look at that.
Look at this.
Still purple. Oh, he's on a big slide. into the 90-degree right-hander, left-hander even, and Johnson lets him go past. DeVoe is on a PB at the moment. It's only marginally through that first sector. We'll keep an eye on him. So Davis going to drive toward the line now. Can he get near Jack Keithley? Can he get in the front row? It's going to be very close. 10.743 goes front row. Goes front row.
7.
So Nascimento is a spoiler in the pack at the moment for the full top 5. He's on a PB once again, Nascimento. And I think Bechtold was dragging around the track quite a bit there. Nascimento now coming to the second sector. He's 0.161 down on Keithley, but he's 0.1 up on himself. This could see him jump up into maybe third position at the moment. Nascimento coming towards the final corner. He's on a barnstorming run right now. He's the only guy at the moment who's got the raw pace to challenge these guys. Patel is 3/10 up on his own time through sector 2, so Patel could be going up the order here in the final few seconds. He likes doing that, and Nascimento goes 4th. Nascimento goes 4th. He's bumped Chris Butcher down to 5th. Keeping on another purple sector. Patel, was he got? Patel was 3/10 up on his own time. Should be able to improve. 9.56. He bumps Nascimento back down once again. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Excellent qualifying session so far. Jack Keithley, amazingly, still is finding even more pace. Arthur Vieira comes across the line. He stays 7th. James Johnson's heading round. He's on a personal best, as is Thibault. And Johnson is now. Daniel Majes goes to 7th. 1 minute 11.375. Talbot's on a personal best. He's up by 10th of a second. That should get him to second place on the front row.
Johnson can't improve. He's down to. He's still in 9th place, so he's been usurped in the final few seconds. Jespers coming now around the middle of the second sector. The second sector split is coming up right here. Maxi Gaho just improved. Finally got that lap in that he knew he could do. And Torborg's 0.91 off Jack Keithley, which means he has to beat Toby Davis in this final sector actually, because Toby Davis is closer than that to Jack Keithley. So this is going to be close. Torborg is going to have to be very fast in this final sector. Beautiful late apex there. Comes out of the final corner. Can he get it onto that front row? He's got to go towards the line. And no, he can't. 11.1. It's a very poor final sector, in fact, in the end. Yeah. Torborg not happy with that. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4 TPS. I think Patel does cross the line. He stays in that 4th place. And Nascimento is in 5th, the best of the non-TPS guys at the moment. Chris Butcher in 6th, who's had a good lap time early on, but has been usurped back down the field. Look at that. And a big gap from the top 6 back. Look at that. There's a 4/10 gap back to Daniel Majes in 7th. They're in 8th. 9th is James Johnson. Right at that top 10 is Alain Debao. He's actually still out on track. I don't think he can get another lap in, but we'll see. And that's it. That is it. Going back to the pits. Now going to advance to the warm-up session. So just bear with us 2 seconds while that happens. But another great pole position there for Jack Keithley. But Toby Davis was right there, wasn't he? And Torborg as well. Should be a good race.
Absolutely, yes, great stuff there. And also, once again, it's another first 2 rows lockout for TPS. It's fantastic stuff. And Nelson Nascimento up there in 5th place. And let's not forget that if anyone who's a regular watching in TPS, of course, in the World Super Set Series, people know that Nelson Nascimento is a TPS regular. But correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe he's actually representing TPS here tonight.
He is not. No, you can see by his purple livery. Indeed, he is not representing TPS. Here today. He's representing Brazil, the Brazilian leagues, and that's his particular league is Raceland. As you can see, he's in the pits here. There you are. There is his livery. Let's just spin it around in the garage, right next to his teammate. There we are. There is Nathan Nascimento. I've not split it around too much. Apologies for that. But that is the livery. They can clearly see. He is not representing TPS. Despite the fact he does race in the TPS. But again, Patel, in the final few seconds of qualifying, just likes to bring it out, doesn't he?
He does.
He did this in WSS, he did it in the first race here at Curitiba, and then he did it again here.
He seems to be one of these guys that kind of, a little bit like, almost like a Sebastian Vettel kind of thing, where it's kind of like he just picks his moment just to go out in the last 5 seconds of qualifying, so he just got just about enough time to go in and get out there and give himself a bank lap right at the end. And so, I don't know what's going on there, because Patel been right out of the way in the end of warm-up here, but Patel definitely doing well to give himself at least a top 5, and I think that's now that's unusual, because I'm pretty sure Majestic got pushed out of the pits there by one of the F1 BC cars.
Now it's sharing the garage there.
Yeah, so that was obviously like some kind of an error there at the moment.
But Bechtold is nowhere to be seen, look. Bechtold is nowhere to be seen after that 15th place and then getting a good result in the second qualifying. Where on earth is he? He's actually not on the grid right now. Oh, of course, Bechtold left the game. Oh, yes, breaking news actually for you there, Scott. Bechtold has left the game because his wife is giving birth.
Wow.
His wife is giving birth right in the middle of the stock car world final. So, congratulations to Gabriel Bechtold. Best of luck to him and his wife.
Absolutely. I think it's safe to say that at times like this, the birth of the child is much more important than sim racing at the moment, and I think no one can dispute that, if I'm perfectly honest.
I disagree. I disagree.
But,
joking.
Yes, of course. Congratulations to Gabriel and his wife, and hopefully everything goes smooth. Because of course, he's been a fantastic race. Of course, that's a fantastic race to at least get himself a 6th place. So fingers crossed that it all goes well, and they come up with a healthy pregnancy and healthy baby, and they will finish up whatever time that might be over in Brazil. In Brazil.
Just a couple of hours behind the UK and 3 hours behind the rest of the EU, Brazil. So they're not too far off us. So it's a nice easy time actually. Nice early evening, not late at night like it usually is for these kinds of things.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, TouringProSeries, of course, it has series to cater for those kind of across the Atlantic. Of course, we've got the American Touring Car Championship as well, which runs on Race 07, and of course we recently had series such as the World 2 Supertech Series does run. It is more of an evening series, isn't it? It's more kind of up to about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. So that does cater for the Brazilian guys who kind of race in the evening. And of course we've had the mini challenge as well, which is also a late start as well for us over here on Greenwich Mean Time in the UK.
Speaking of events coming up in the TPS, since we're doing the broadcast, let's do a bit of plug-in, shall we?
Yeah, that's
next event
coming
up.
A good idea.
Next event coming up on the TPS is on Wednesday. We have the Oran Park round of the World Touring Masters, the penultimate round of the season, round 6 of 7. Jesper Torborg can wrap up the title there, by the way. I've had 4 wins out of 5 this season so far and 5 pole positions. It's if that's not dominance, I don't know what is. That's on Wednesday at 19:45 GMT. That's at 14:45 EST if you're watching in America, and it's at 17:45 BRT if you're in Brazil. And then the event after that is the second round of the World Supertech Series. That's at Curitiba, funnily enough, and that's at 8:45 GMT time. And was it's at 18:45 for if you're watching in Brazil, and 15:45 if you're watching in America. Of course, it's at it's 9:45 if you're watching in mainly the rest of the EU. So don't forget to tune in for that. That's on Friday, and I will be commentating on that with Liam Jenkins and Keith Barrick. So we got plenty of people for that. The game's at 25 seconds to go. Going to stick your neck out here, Scott, and say who's going to win this race?
Well, and Jack he's put in a very dominant performance, but also we said Jack Keithley before. It'd be hard not to bet against him. I think, again, this is as unbiased as possible. I think it's probably going to be another TPS driver winning, unless there's a huge shock and a huge surprise of what happens in this race. I think that probably Keithley has got it in him. He showed some really great pace in the first race at Curitiba. Whether or not Butcher or maybe even Toby Davis, I hope for his sake Toby Davis does have a better race in this one. Looks so hopefully it's obviously, you know, as we said, TPS guys will be familiar with Jacarepagua, so hopefully Davis, who's obviously on the first 2 rows of the grid, so hopefully he can have a really good run. But I think Keithley's probably going to take another win and hopefully sweep out both races here. And what would be quite nice, I think, probably, is maybe we can see a surprise and hope we can get like a surprise someone on the podium. I think possibly, if he has a good run, maybe Neto Nascimento may have a chance of maybe sneaking a podium, but it depends on what happens with the 4 guys in front of him as we are now going towards the race start. So, I have to intriguing to see how that works out. So, Ron, what about you? Who are you tipping for victory? Do you think it's going to be Keithley again, or do you think we could see someone different?
I think it's going to have to just go with Keithley. But I think Tolbo's going to be right there also as well. A couple of drivers apparently are going to go for a slightly different setup in this race to improve their tyre preservation, the TPS guys, and getting that word from the rest of the crews.
Absolutely. And you're watching here then on the front of the grid, and we'll be missing a couple. Either that's an empty grid spot.
No, those guys aren't driving, it seems like, Acaroni and Numish, so they're just dropping back down the field now.
That's better.
Oh, there's a bit of what's going on back there?
What's going on there? That's
Majestic's car. Very strange.
Looks like Majest, yeah, and he's now looped it, and he's now facing backwards on the track. So whether or not he's been a bit too vigorous in his tyre warming efforts, but he's dropping down the order, so that's not exactly
Bit
something
of it.
I was
Looked like a
hoping
bit of a
for.
glitch actually. Looked like the car was just travelling sideways, just by itself. So hopefully that gets resolved.
Yeah, well, he has dropped all the way back down the order, so it looks like it obviously maybe either that was a glitch or he generally made that mistake. So I'll have to wait and see. There he is at the back of the field, I think. Majestic right at the back of the pack, so maybe he's going to try and come through. But I suppose he wants to go around quickly before they come back to the grid. Let's run through the grid and how they're going to start. So you see there Jack Keithy and Toby Davis on the front row of the grid, with Talborg and Patel on row 2. So its first 2 rows are a complete TPS lockout. Then Nascimento jumping into 5th with Chris Butcher in 6th. So look at that. In the top 6, 5 TPS cars. Impressive stuff there. Arthur Vieira will take 7th on the grid alongside James Johnson 8th. So look at that. And actually that's all 6, I think, TPS cars in the top 10, which is even better. Then we've got Maxi Geho and, well, there's Daniel Majest trying to squeeze his way back in. I think he may have been 9th, but he's trying to muscle his way back through to where he could be. But he's 7th, in fact, so it's a bit confusing how the grid's going to work out now, because Majest is going to muscle his way back through. I think he has done now. I think he's now going to be 8th or 9th, or wherever he's going to go. I don't know what he's doing there. He's on the grass. But I think he's hoping someone's going to let him in, but I think they have now. So it's going to be, look at it, it's Majest, Marek, Garatano, Juan Janino, and then it's Jerome Tellier and Christophe Charrier. That's the top.
I have to just restart this race. Sorry, guys. Just so that people. 1 second. Just you carry on talking, Scott.
Okay, not a problem. I'll quickly scroll through the rest of the grid. Alain Thibault is out. He's suffered some suspension problems there, so obviously he's not going to be taking the start. Now the restart procedure, is that going to be a complete restart, or are these guys going to have to go around for another pace lap, do you reckon?
It's going to be restart of the race because some people have got damage to their cars.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so there we go then. That's better. As I said, Alain and Thibault was already out with suspension failure before the race even started, so not convenient for the Frenchman there. But I'll have to try and go through the grid. I think this time, hopefully, Daniel Majest will hopefully want to get further than a few feet without looping the car in a complete 180 spin and having to force his way back up through the pack just to get into line. Obviously, he qualified 7th. That's where he was trying to get onto the grid. But I think the rest of the cars around him weren't exactly too obliging to let him get back into his spot. So
now Alain Thibault has not got to the grid, it seems like here to me, unless it's just a timing glitch at the moment. Hopefully you can actually get to the grid. Everyone just needs to move off from the grid nice and slowly, and that way there will be no issues. Thibault is... they still have the problems here.
Yeah, that was... And I think that again, unfortunately, again, that was Daniel Majest again. So he's having
There's a problem with the AIW file actually because we've used a different one in WSS and everyone seems to be a bit better. Look, a couple of drivers are off the track still.
Yeah. And one of them is a TPS car.
Very strange.
I'm trying to see who that is.
Right.
I think it's Chris Butcher. In fact, I think Chris Butcher's on the side of the track because out of the 6 TPS cars at the front, he was the only one that I couldn't see.
Let's restart the race once again. Try again.
Yeah. So apologies for this, guys, if you are watching the course. I'm having 1 or 2 technical difficulties, but we are trying to get these sorted. Of course, it's little glitches as it is with sim racing. So we're going to get this sorted out.
Yep. Let's just try and get themselves extricated.
Yep. I do in fact believe that game sounds muted as well. Just haven't muted that, so it's better. There we go.
So we'll see if that works this time around. We do apologise for this. This is the perils of sim racing for you.
And Thibault still isn't present on the grid
he is, but he's just greyed out for some strange reason.
And I think we've got...
there it is. Why are they moving? Don't move. Don't move. There we go. It's Majest. There we go. There we go. There we go. People are now moving. Oh, no, stop. There we go. Majest now should be able to move without getting damage.
Majest is currently sideways.
Majest is now moving without damage. So he's got no damage. So he can rejoin in his position.
Okay. So he will then have to try and get back up to 7. That's where he's going to be starting, of course, alongside Arthur Vieira, I believe. And then we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But again, we'll try and go through the grid again as they try and make their way back through. Watching Daniel Majest now trying to throw his way back up to where he was. And eventually he does. One more spot, Daniel. Past Arthur. No, he's going to go. Which way is he going to go? He
should be in 7th place. That's definitely correct. There we go. It's now into 6th actually. There we go. Chris Butcher goes back around the outside. There we go. Right, we're back in order now.
that's better. That's good. Right. So grid again, then as we're running out. So essential positions, which you run my name. So it's Keeley and Davis on row 1. Row 2 is Talbot and Patel. Row 3 is Nascimento and Butcher. Row 4, now rejoining back into his spot once again, is Majest and Vieira. Row 5 is Johnson and Maxi Gaho. Alan Thibault is still showing 11, with Bruno De Carmo in 12th. Then it's going to be Garatano and Marek on row 7. Row 8 is going to be Juninho and Jerome Tellier. Then scrolling through again, 17th and 18th are going to be Charrier and Sene. Then it's Milot and Lacombe on row 10. Row 11 is Giranton and Morayo on row 11. And then it's row 12, Carlos Ramos and Gerardo Fonseca. And then we've got Sergio Acrone on row number 13, all by himself, I believe. That's Rodrigo Wizard. No, is that Rodrigo Wizard? Is that is he on row 13? Have to wait and see. He's either Packlin.
He's back in the grid, so.
Yeah. 26, an RPM car off to the left-hand side there. Not sure what he was doing there. Can't see who that was. But 26, rather eager-looking. What's Brazilian V8 stock car drivers getting ready to start this second race of the 2012 Touring Pro Series Stock Car Interleague World Finals here. The second race
just to interrupt that, it's not Touring Pro Series, it's not a Touring Pro Series sanctioned event, in fact.
Okay.
We're just providing broadcast and service for these guys. It's actually organised independently by Alexandra Sene. Yeah. So people who think we've just organised this for the glory of ourselves, indeed is not the case.
I stand corrected. Right then, ready for the start and waiting for the
green
lights then. And
the green flag is about to wave, and it's waving now, and away from the grid they'll go. Green, 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 away from the grid they go, and it seems like a good start there for Jack Keithley, but it seems Toby Davis is actually slightly ahead of him as he goes towards turn 1, and Davis is going to not quite get there. Keithley sweeps across and takes the lead of the race. Tolbog's actually trying to get back with Toby Davis as well. Number 19, that's Toby Davis, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still for the TPS guys. Defoe is greyed out, but he still is running, just excuse that. And we've got Nascimento in 6th, Vieira in 7th. So good start there for Butcher. He's gone from 6th to 4th, and Daniel Guess has gone back down to 12th. So not a good start for him. There he is, number 12 in 12th.
Yeah, I watched. Oh, there's a car from the background.
That looked like an SRE car, didn't it?
SRE cars. I'm not quite sure who that was.
It must have been Charrier. It must have been Charrier. In fact, yeah, definitely.
Must have been Charrier because
there he is.
Yeah, there he is. He's going again. So obviously that was how I spotted that just in the background.
Maybe they've still got together. Nicholas Malott and Charrier maybe got together because there's been a bit of contact as well somewhere, because that's a bit of bodywork disappeared off to the side of the road. Keithley still leads. And it's a train at the moment.
I'm pretty sure you're rubbing your hands there, right? Because it is literally, once again, a TPS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the front already, with Nascimento in tow. So I suppose really feel like it's almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because Johnson's just behind Nascimento as they head through turn 1. And of course, we said Nascimento does race with us regularly in World Supertech Series, and heading down the back straight, best of the rest behind the TPS.
Oh, someone got out of shape down there. Who was that? It was Marek, I think. Marek has gone out of shape. Yeah, he is. There's Marek. He's gone down the order. There he is. Trying to get the car starting once again. Oh, he's driven into the wall as well. Maybe we might get a replay of that if we can. There we go. Just lost it all by himself. Always backed into the wall quite hard as well, it seems like. And he got going once again. It was spun back into the drivers.
Almost took out two SRE drivers. It wouldn't have looked favourably on him on that too much, but look to me.
Live action now.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he's got some slight suspension damage as a result of that contact. Wasn't sure just how hard it looked. It did look to be pretty hard. The contact into the inside wall. We'll have to wait and see. But look at this gaggle of TPS cars. It's an absolute whitewash at the moment. And we'll have to see, because Johnson's dropped back already. He's dropped back to 9/10 of a second behind Nascimento. So really, Johnson's kind of the odd one out here for TPS here. No offence to Jack James. Of course, he's a great driver himself. As Keithley goes across the line with the fastest lap already, 1 minute 5. God, it's not that quick. 1 minute 11.
I was saying, if he's taken that quick, no wonder he's winning.
Keithley leads. Toby Davis second, but for how much longer? Because here comes
Talbot. Butcher's gone past Talbot.
Oh, he has indeed. Yes, it's Butcher now attacking Davis this time. Remember these two from back in the Clios, with these two are going hammer and tongs. I do remember when I did my first TPS broadcast in the Clios with Keith. Of course, the first one I did with Liam, the second one I did with Keith. And that's Davis massively sideways. This boy cannot keep it on a straight line in the early laps of a race, Toby Davis, because obviously he did that in Curitiba twice in 2 laps, dropped to 19th. I'm pretty sure it's getting deja vu here because he's probably going to do it again if he's not too careful. But there's Nascimento.
Looking threatening still, isn't he, Nascimento? He's not let these 5 get away at all.
He's doing a much better race than he did in Curitiba. He didn't make the finish in that race, so he's obviously doing much better, although he won't last too much longer. Get sideways like that, there's a bit of a twitch. David Johnson I think he's kind of just acting like the anchor really at the back of this group. I think ideally you'd love to be in front of Nascimento, but at the moment it seems to be that the Brazilian is a much quicker car. Keeping it to another fastest lap of the race, we're running at 11.1. That's only half a second off his pole time, so you see just how quick the race pace is so far.
1.7 seconds ahead of Toby Davis already, just pulling away. Toby Davis seems to be holding up the rest of the field at the moment. Nascimento is still looking very threatening on Patel at the moment. Look at this, it's very close as he comes down the back straight, down towards turn 1.
And Davis, I think, was under attack from Butcher there, I think just in front, with Talbot just trying to get in there too. So these 3 are going to try and scrap amongst themselves. But Jack Keith is just immediately showing his class, and it's definitely proving that his efforts on a World Series Championship win was no fluke. He's definitely shown just how competitive he can be also in TouringProSeries. So it seems to be quite a universal sim racer. When what I mean by that is that he can race single seats, but also tin tops as well. So he's definitely a very skilled driver. He can race multiple classes and adapt it very well. I think that was Butcher again darting out, following Toby Davis in the rearview mirrors. And Nascimento is doing extremely well to hold on to these guys. And of course, as we said, very familiar, on board now, it's a fantastic dashboard camera looking ahead at Patel's TPS, so you can see just ahead.
Oh, almost giving a tap to the back of Patel's car there. That was close.
It was very, very close. You see the troubles TPS trio in front with Davis, Butcher and Talbot together. 4 tenths per second separating them. Mock-ups galore in the first corner. And back down straight again, those 3 will go out of 1.
Here comes Nascimento, he's on the push to pass. He's on that push to pass. And I think Patel is as well, but a little bit later on it perhaps. Oh no, not on it, because Nascimento is going to sweep right round the outside of Patel. Thank you very much. I'll take that 5th place. I'll stop that top 5 being all TPS.
Very well, he's definitely trying to get himself into the mix there. I'm pretty sure that TPS boys won't like that too much, and Nascimento then is looking to try and upset the TPS party here. And I did say if he had a decent enough result, he possibly could try and spoil and get himself in there to a possible podium. Definitely showing he has the potential to do that, because he's definitely getting in there and trying to get himself into that kind of spot. As now we see that, I think once again Davis and Butcher are still battling away. There's Arthur Vieira with Alain Thibault just behind, and in the background that's Maxi Gay, I think, obviously just lag in
and
the
Butcher's got past
on.
Chris Butcher now as well. Look at that, sorry, just missed that off the camera there. Butcher has now passed Toby Davis.
He has.
Butcher up into 2nd place. So we're back to 3rd. Got Talbot in 4th, we've got Nascimento in very close attendance.
I did see off the back of the penultimate corner that those 2 were pretty much side by side, so obviously Butcher took advantage on the inside line into the final corner and managed to just make the move stick there. Now back here for 8th place is Vieira, still under attack from Thibault into the back straight into turn 2. Very long corner here. And then they'll head through turn
very long.
3. very, very, very long. But through this twisty section, of course, Jacarepagua, of course, for those who are clued up on racing, was a former host of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And back between when they were when they were renovating, the wrong word is, was that switch position in front? I think it may have been. In front. Was that? It was.
Who was that, just going up ahead? Was that Nico Garitano going past?
It may have been. Garitano going past. I think it was Sene going past Garitano, I think. There wasn't pass going in front of those 2. Talbot, that's the fastest lap of the race, but just 180, so they're getting pretty good at that. And actually 2 tenths quicker than keeping it on that lap. So he's the 4th man at the moment, and Butch and Davis still scrapping away 4 tenths per second between them. With Alain Thibault in the SRE machine. Chasing down 8th place Arthur Ferreira down the back straight. Arthur Ferreira in the white and red RPM Peugeot.
Look at the lock-up there, couldn't see anything at all. From the lock-up from Arthur Ferreira, it's not a particular corner that you particularly want to be able to be blind into, so.
And not only that, obviously, that would ruin one of the front tyres, ruin his front tyres as well. They'll definitely take a little bit of wear out of them. If this was R-Factor 2, they'd be covered in flat spots, of course, because the R-Factor 2 engine does now incorporate tyre wear and proper kind of physical tyre wear and flat spots, so you can actually see the flat spots when you rock up, which is pretty cool.
This is a nice inter-team battle right now. Gueranton and Lacombe.
Because SRE probably had words between races, of course, because there was a bit of contact between two of the SRE cars whilst they were battling with each other, and Keithy responds 1 minute 11.030.
Anything you can do, Jesper?
I can do much better by a tenth and a half. As there goes Majest, obviously qualified in 7th, dropped back to 12th off the start. He's now gone back to 2 places, and they're trying to make up for it now as he goes to the outside of Gueranton, side by side down towards turn 1. Probably used a bit of push to pass down the straight, and on pure straight line.
Oh, can he get it stopped? Can he get it stopped? Oh, he just get it stopped. Oh, perfect judgment in the end, but it was close.
It was very close. Obviously, he's definitely trying to see if he can get that car stopped with the brakes. And not that one, of course, with yes, but only just. Now we're going more with the jest, and he's now going to tell the other SRE car, which is, of course, that is Thomas Lacombe. And then just ahead, 2.7 seconds up the road from these two, are Ezequiel Garitano, Alexandre Sene. Of course, he managed to put this whole finals together for the Interleague stock car race. He sat in the top 10, so he was a part in the first race, and the second race, which was there. And there goes, just trying to ride down the inside. That's actually a very fast move. If he can pull it off, pushes the wrong way. That's a pretty impressive pass.
We've also got Torborg up into 3rd, by the way, just to interrupt that. Torborg into 3rd. Toby Davis apparently has some hardware issues with his wheel, with his pedals, and he's just dropping back and allowing the drivers in front just to get ahead, and he'll act as the rear gunner, let them drivers pull away. But Butcher's not pulling away from these guys at all, actually. He's not been very consistent so far, and needs to really get the foot down and just pull away.
Well, at least it's hardware issues and not Phantom Pocket Cap issues for Toby Davis this time. I think it was back in back in
World Touring Masters.
Yeah, so I think it's I think Toby would probably say the less to remind you about that, the better. I think, but at least it's not anything like that at all. It is actually.
So Mohamed Patel has dropped off a lot in this race, hasn't he? 2.4 seconds now back off Nascimento. Not sure exactly what's happened to Patel, but he's not gone well for him at all. And Johnson is now catching him. So just Nascimento's the lone ranger in that top 7.
And they finished like this in race 1. It was Patel 4th and Johnson 5th. So I'm pretty sure Johnson either will just kind of be the team player and want to hold just behind Patel and try and follow him up back to the field and get them back into 5th and 6th places to try and make it a complete sweep of the top 6 or TPS, or whether or not he'll obviously want to, whether or not at this point he'll be sick of seeing the back of Patel's car. As we see Arthur Barrera trying to chase after the 2 TPS cars directly ahead of him. 1.6 seconds is the gap. He is 1.6 seconds is the gap. Car 13.
So quite spread out at the moment, back in the pack. Sene is pulling away from Garitano very quickly indeed. We called him, so that was Bechtold earlier in qualifying, because it's Sene. I didn't realise at the time that Sene had taken over from Bechtold's car. But still representing Brazil is Alexandre Sene.
Indeed, and I think just looking at the gaps in front, I can see 4/10 of a second separating the first, second, third and fourth, but you see just how close it is right here. Because you can see actually, obviously if Davis has any hardware problems, doesn't seem to be slowing him down too much, probably just temporary. And was that Talborg a little bit overzealous, going too deep into the right left-hander there? I think he may have been, because Davis is right on the back of him once again. And this time it's Butcher that's now backing everyone up into the pack. Because look at this, because he's back now his 2 teammates into Neto Nascimento. So I'm pretty sure that the Jesper, in fact look at that, yeah, now Talborg's up the inside, he's on a bit of contact. Now was that preempted or was that a genuine mistake from Butcher? Nevertheless, down the pit strip they go. Talborg to the outside, Butcher holds the inside run, and I think Talborg's going to be determined to try and make the outside run stick, but no, Butcher holds it off. So Butcher still holds second from Talborg and Davis, but I'm pretty sure those two will be saying, come on Chrissy Ward, come on, get on with it, because we want to try and get away from Nascimento, as Davis goes up the inside into turn 2. And he's made the
Davis goes up to 3rd, very nice move, wasn't it?
It was. Excellent slipstreaming down the back straight and back into 3rd place. Obviously whatever hardware issues he's had doesn't seem to be affecting him too much anymore, because he's managed to get himself back up into a podium place. Much better race he's having so far compared to the one that he had, where obviously he had some problems early on in the race and dropped as low as 19th, so he's definitely not that low anymore. And hopefully that won't be a commentator's curse, so of course hopefully he'll stay up here and try and give TPS a decent result and help cement themselves if that comes to it at the end. The fastest the league to run Brazilian V8 stock cars. Through. On the pit straight once again, and now this time Butcher actually must have heard us up in the commentary box, because it looks like he's now put his foot down and tried to pull a bit of a gap. He's now got a half a second gap back to the two teammates behind him, and promptly locks up into turn 1 and closes
and loses all that
again. So, and what do you think? What do you think Nascimento's possible plan is here? Do you think he's probably just going to hope these three?
But he doesn't seem to. He seems to be there, doesn't he? He doesn't seem to be able to just get any closer. Oh, what a drift there from Nato! Beautiful drift. I'm liking that. Keep doing that, please.
To quote something that I said in the mini challenge broadcast, I thought this was TouringProSeries stock car. No, excuse me. It thought it was a stock car race, not D1 Grand Prix drifting. But nevertheless, Nascimento very well held slide there through turn 2. I think
tells us increasing pressures from Johnson, isn't he? Look at this.
Indeed.
Increasing pressure. On the back of Johnson's car now, looking at the toe. On board number 21, looking at number 17. Butcher, Davis and Torborg still just 0.3 of a second between them.
Fantastic camera shot here, hanging out the side of Johnson's car, looking at his teammate behind the tail in front. Well, Nascimento is the, if you like, the terrible use of this, the Brazilian cat among the TVS pigeons, like.
Is that your phrase of the day today,
It is. It is. I don't know why. I heard David Croft say it on the broadcast. And also, he also said that. But I'm probably going to use his next one here if it pulls it off. Here comes Sene. He's got Majest on the inside.
I think he's going to let him through.
Majest up the inside.
Yep.
And that was a.
Oh, don't be too generous, Alex. Don't be too generous.
Yeah, you almost let Garitano through there, but there we go. Daniel Majest with a bit of a Leroy Jenkins moment up the inside. Again, you can blame David Croft for that one, but it's another one I stole from him off the Brazilian Sky Sports F1 broadcast. But
goodness, I'll stop you listening to David Croft. I'm going to ban you from Sky Sports. thank goodness the F1's over. Scott might get some new phrases.
Well, I get to one or two people I think might.
Oh, this is. Oh, that's a very ambitious move. Oh, goodbye, Carlo. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh, he hit the wall.
Couldn't get it stopped.
Oh, he hit the wall. That was very strange.
Now,
I think
it's safe to say that was the big literally went to the left, to the right.
Yeah.
Just,
I think he realised that he'd gone too late and then switched back across to make sure he didn't take out Christophe Charrier, which was very charitable of him actually, and good driving.
Very true, but of course at the same time it's dropped him back down to 19th, now immediately behind Martin.
After that great performance at Curitiba, Bruno De Carmo is now in 16th, look, off the track again. Bruno De Carmo has had a torrid time at the end of Curitiba.
We just caught the end of that as well, so maybe we can get a replay to see exactly what happened to him.
I don't know if we'll be able to. Oh, there we go, just wide of that corner there. It's very easy to do that. He did quite well to hold that, quite frankly. It was at rather bad degrees to the track there. Majest and Sene, Majest is just pulling away from Sene now. Majest has got his foot down finally. He looked a little bit out of sorts at the start of the race. He's up into 10th place. Thibaut is in 9th. 8th place for Brazil is that car of Arthur Vieira. So Vieira and Carmo seem to be the best of the F1 BC cars, whereas you see Nascimento and Bechtel the best of the rest of the Brazilian leagues. And once again, it's Thibaut who's the fastest by far of the SRE guys this time around. Whereas we see that the best of the Argentinian guys this time around is Garitano. So those drivers not putting on a great show this time around. They were much better in the last particular event, but they got a great skin. I do love that skin. Very nice indeed. Silver and black and grey, black and grey, and red and grey. It's very nice indeed.
I think it also suits the Peugeot body shape as well. It's a fantastic. Obviously,
indeed.
I have to be honest. I think in terms of always put a commentator's curse on that one, because look at that Garitano getting very out of shape out the final corner, but holds on for the moment. But this man here, Jack Keighley, I mean, 6.3 seconds already.
He must be quite bored.
I'm almost expecting probably to come over TeamSpeak and all the other guys will probably like Fernando Alonso being like, I'm very relaxed. I'm pretty sure he is, because look at that 6.5 seconds, and already it's only half distance of the race. So at this rate, he'll be probably finishing over 10 seconds ahead of this lot. Because Davis is now up to second. He has got past Chris Butcher, so obviously off camera, apologies for missing that.
So Davis has sorted himself out with his pedal issues, whatever they were.
Yeah, so obviously, if he's still got those issues, he's definitely, if he's working around them, it's very impressive the fact he's actually in second.
The word for the GPS camp is that Jack Keighley is not relaxed, he's hungry. So unfortunately, it doesn't matter how fast he drives, the race will last 40 minutes. Not like a lap time where you can actually go faster and actually end the race quicker. It actually will be 40 minutes, and there's no way you can make it go any faster, unfortunately. And Debo's dropping back through the field, look. Debo is dropping back through the field.
He stopped!
Oh, he's out! He stopped, he's out, look like his car was up in smoke there, his engine, see, there you go.
That was engine failure, I think. Either that or his engine's overheated.
He's hit something hard, hasn't he? I think he's hit something hard.
Yeah,
can't quite. DeCarmo's out as well. DeCarmo's out as well, just trying to get to his car. Can't really see any damage on the front of that, of course. It's quite difficult to now. But that smashing looking Sim Racing Evolution car, 28, Alan Debo, out of this race. And Bruno DeCarmo is out also, back to live action. And we'll just quickly try and find DeCarmo, see what happens to him. He's got a DNF, so maybe we just quit from the race or a disconnect, something like that. But Malotte's out the race, and Gayho and Zanino also. So
and
that's
it's actually saying that Thibaut is actually there was actually an engine failure, because it says on there on the site on the.
It does, but did he blow it up, or did he hit the engine off a wall? That's the issue, isn't it? What exactly did he do?
Anyway, absolutely.
The race continues apace without them.
Yeah, the top.
Oh, and Garanthon's out of the race as well. Garanthon is out of the race. Accident, look. Oh, we're probably going to miss this on replay as well. Just saw him. He's battled with Tellier. And no, we're not going to see it either. Garanthon is out of this race with an accident, and I can't see any damage on the car, so obviously it's reset the damage for us, so unfortunately we can't see what's happened there. But Garanthon also out of the race, so that's not a good couple of minutes for the SRE team.
No, they've lost 2 cars out of their 4 or 5 that are in this race already, and that's definitely disappointing. Hopefully nothing happens to this man, because Jack Keithley again, his gap's up to 7 seconds, he's increased it by half a second since we last saw him. And these 4 are still going at it. Davis is still leading Tolborg, Butcher and Nascimento. Have to head through. And then still
Patel is actually coming back towards these guys, look. Patel is coming back towards them. It was a 2-second gap, no, 1.6. 1.7 actually has come over that line.
He's bringing
Johnson is pushing Patel along, isn't he?
He's bringing Johnson with him. And also look in the back, and look at that. That's Alton Vieira, so he's not too far behind as well. So we could be, if we're not too careful, for 2nd through to 8th of a 7-car train eventually by the end of this race. That's a pretty exciting prospect. And we know what happens when we get huge trains of cars together or back into positions. You get very, very frantic, and I know that from experience. And I covered that fateful mini challenge race at Londrina. I was supposed to provide a voice at the end of that one, because that was literally from start to finish, non-stop positions, switching every single corner. I haven't quite got that yet, but we could have a switch positions maybe in here, unless they're going to stay in flying formation, because that was Johnson.
Tolborg's gone back past Davis.
Tolborg is down to 2nd. So that's Tolborg's 2nd, Davis is 3rd.
And they're dropping Butcher, look. They're dropping Butcher. So Butcher is now rear gunner at the moment, holding off Nascimento. Can't allow Nascimento to get past. Butcher seems like he's struggling a little bit, missing a few apexes here and there. The car just looks a little bit flighty. He's not quite getting into the apex each time, into the curves. He's just missing it ever so slightly, and that's a half a tenth in each corner, and that adds up to a lot around this particular track, because there's not many places you can make up time anyway, with it being a short track, and Nascimento's looking hungry. He can see that Butcher is now holding him up. He can see that the guys in front are now pulling away, and Nascimento wants to get past.
He does indeed.
Will he be able to? That's the problem. Will he be able to?
Maybe quickly run quickly go sort something out before work. So bear with 2 seconds. I'll leave you.
Okay, well I'll take on this the commentary right now then. And here is Chris Butcher. You see looking down on the track from the aerial view, looking at the TPS racing car, trying to hold off the Brazilian representative Nato Nascimento. Of course, he raced many times before, actually already in the WSS in the last 2 seasons. And Nascimento has got the push to pass going. He's trying to go around the outside of Chris Butcher. Chris Butcher defending the inside. It's going to be very, very close indeed. Around the outside is Nascimento. It's not going to work. He's not going to pass. So that push to pass has been wasted. It has not worked. So that is a big deal for Nascimento. He needed that to work. And now, of course, Chris Butcher has a push to pass over him. And not able to make it stick, and then Nascimento's pulling out, going to go for the move this time into the corner. Will he make it stick? Will Butcher get the cut back? Butcher's sideways, oh, he's almost off the track. Butcher gets it backwards again. Nascimento's up to 4th. So Butcher has dropped to 5th. He's ceded that position, but Butcher may have a push to pass this time around. Tolborg there is in 2nd. He's pulling away from Toby Davis ever so slightly. Who's ahead of them? I can't quite see which car that is. There's no number on the front of the car. I have to look at the side of the car to find out who there is. But maybe Luciano Marek, I would presume that is, and Marek goes off the track, way off the track actually, not sure he really meant to do that much. But now Chris Butcher and Nascimento close together. Chris Butcher had to avoid Marek there quite aggressively, and Butcher now being forced onto the grass by Nascimento with that push to pass, and Chris Butcher has gone too deep as well, and he's not made his push, but he's spun! Chris Butcher has spun! Oh, he's gone right in front of his two TPS teammates, Patel and Johnson. Absolutely almost ruined the race for those guys, and now Vieira's gone past also. So Butcher has definitely lost that 4th position now. So it will not be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this race for TPS Racing, and Chris Butcher really has completely lost it into the barriers. Into the barriers. Chris Butcher can reverse out once again, but that car is not going to be gaining any more positions in this race. They have to just get to the end of the race. Just need to calm down. Still spinning around, just needs to get that car back on the track. There we go. Focus and just bring that car home for some points. That's an unfortunate end to that battle with Nascimento, but all of his own doing really. Well, off on the side of the road there, what's that? Looks like an SRE car. Oh, I can't quite see it now. It's Nascimento! It's Nascimento! Nascimento was the one at the side of the car, side of the road. It wasn't. There it is! Nascimento has destroyed his car. He finally got past Chris Butcher, but there it is! Nascimento's car is up in flames. Nascimento's out of this race, and it has left for TPS with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now, look. Oh, Nascimento was doing so well, but as we've seen so many times in the Touring Pro Series, he does tend to make mistakes and throw away good results. But Keithley is now leading as he comes behind with the RPM cars to try and lap him, who gets out of the way for him also. Number 33, that's Carlos Ramos. Lets him through nicely indeed. Torborg is in 2nd, Davis is in 3rd, Patel 4th, Johnson in 5th. Arthur Vieira now is the only threat to TPS in that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 axis. And Majestic's gone up into 7th, by the way. A great recovery drive from Magest after that. Bit of damage at the start of the race. His car's looking fine. There's not too much damage to his car. But he dropped back down to 14th actually at one point. But Chris Butcher is in the pits still. He's back in 15th position. But he should be able to. He will be able to get plenty of points here because there's only actually 16 runners left. Luciano Marek is a couple of laps down. So look out for Chris Butcher coming out of the pits. So that's really all calmed down. That was a big fight on the track, of course. And now Keith leads by 7.9 seconds from Jesper Torborg. Davis is 9.2 seconds back. Patel and Johnson in the battle now. They're free really to fight because they're not going to jeopardise too much here. Vieira is close by, of course, but Vieira gets ahead of him. It's still a 1, 2, 3 for TPS, and that team will be looking just to build from there. Butcher is now out of the pits. He's dropped to 16th, and now 2 laps down. Behind Luciano Marek in even so. We just need to bring the car home and pick up those few points. Any battles on the track at the moment? My guess is far away from Sene. Tellier also. Lacombe, Charrier, Carlos Ramos, Martin Morayo. He's got a close attendance, and that's Jesper Torborg to lap him, of course. So it's not been a stellar race, this one, for the non-TPS guys. After a great opening race in Curitiba, Jacarepagua Curva Sul has not been good at all for these. And there is Chris Butcher's wounded car. And there is his next target, Luciano Marek. Chris Butcher is around about the short straight behind. He gets going out of there. Even at that damaged car, he's still overtaken number 25, that's Charrier, who's in 11th place, but he's a whole lap ahead of him, of course. So 9 minutes to go in this, and Jack Keithley looks like he's going to serenely take this win. So let's go aboard for a lap with Jack Keithley.
Okay, if you guys are there, I am back. So, yeah, 8 minutes and 1 minute to go here in this race. And it's Jack Keatley now with an 8.6 second lead over Jesper Taubel. Toby Davis, Patel. Chris Butcher's down in 16th. Wow, but
I can fill you in.
But please
Scott,
do.
because of course
Please
you've been away.
Yes.
So Nascimento got past Chris Butcher. Chris Butcher went back past with a push to pass, but went too deep into turn 2, which Keithy is coming up to now. Spun the car around and dropped down the field, almost splitting the two teammates behind, Patel and Johnson. Actually, Johnson dropped down to 6th as well. Look, Johnson dropped down to 6th. He's made a mistake, and that's allowed Vieira to go over the top 5. So we did have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for TPS, but now it's that down. He's got down to 6. So just 1, 2, 3, 4 for TPS. But he almost took out his 2 teammates. They had to go either side of him. And then coming to the next corner, he was fighting with, I believe, it was Vieira, and he went straight off the track and slid straight into the barriers, destroyed the front end of his car. And then Nascimento, after doing all that hard work to get past, binned it on the same lap at the penultimate corner into the barriers, destroyed his car. Car was up in flames, and that was his challenge over.
Oh dear. I think I said to say ouch on that one. I think that's rather unfortunate for that to happen. But anyway, it's a pretty shame because Chris Butcher was doing very well, and of course, as was Nascimento, I tipped him to get a surprise podium. So it's rather a shame that he wasn't able to.
Commentator's curse, eh?
Oh yeah, as always seems to be the case. But there we go. That's sim racing, I suppose you can say on that one. Looking back to the field, and there is Chris.
So
Butcher.
Chris Butcher is now I think he's 2 laps down. And his next target is that guy Marek, and there is Butcher just in behind. There is the damaged car of Chris Butcher.
Yeah, minus
he's had to be in the pits, but they obviously didn't have a spare bonnet, and they need to increase the funding, I think, for the TPS team.
Yes, absolutely. Obviously,
or maybe Chris Butcher shouldn't crash it. That would be a better idea. Oh, Marek's went straight off the track. Whoa, Luciano Marek. That's not where the track is. Managed to recover it, thankfully.
So thank you very much, 15th place. Good night, Irene. I'm gone.
It's a long way to get to Fonseca, though. It's not going to happen. So Chris Butcher will bring it home in 15th. Not many battles on track, actually. It's been a very arduous race, actually, this one. Nobody apart from TPS seems to be able to keep it together.
Well, I mean, Chris is a full lap down behind Gerardo Fonseca, so unfortunately, unless something major happens to the RPM driver, and again, don't wish to put context curves, I think we've put too many on.
He's not quite a 1 lap down, just because of the timings, it makes it 2 laps down. He's 1 lap down on Lacombe, I think. So I noticed earlier he unlapped himself from Charrier, so that should be it's definitely not going to happen in 5 minutes anyway. It's around about half a lap ahead of him. So, but Torborg is in 2nd position. Toby Davis in 3rd. It's all really died off, really. 4th place is Mohamed Patel. Not too far behind him is Archer Vieira, so Patel can't afford to relax just right now. Johnson's 3 seconds behind Vieira.
And I wonder if there's anything possibly Johnson can do in this position, because he's in 6th place, so he'll get the gap from just over 3 seconds. So I mean, really needs to try and step up the pace if he can, and also try and get off the back of Vieira and make it a TPS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as it was in Curitiba in the first race. We'll have to see exactly how that works out. Daniel Majesty is now, as far as I can see, in 7th. Basically, he's right where he started, back in 7th place. Alexandra Sene, who I believe is also filling in for Gabriel Bechtold, of course, as we said earlier on, he and his wife are basically, well, his wife is having a baby, so congratulations to them, as we said. And we've got Jerome Tellier and Thomas Lacombe, the 2 SRE machines, highest of those, 9 and 10, Charrier just behind in 11.
Let's go on board with Tellier, actually. No, that's not too much airtime for Jerome, but on board with Jerome Tellier now. Let's go on board with him and have a watch of the French driver. Best of the French driver so far in this race, after Thibault's accident. Or engine failure, not quite sure what it was, but he did. He managed to blow his engine either way.
Of course, these 3 are holding SRE on, of course, after their 2 other drivers, of course, dropped out, as you said. So these guys can see what they can do. A little bit of a twitch of oversteer there from Tellier's Chevrolet, but definitely holding on to 9, 10, and 11 with the SREs, all theirs. They can keep together in 4 minutes' time. Now on board with Carlos Rallos, who is trying to chase after Christophe Charrier. That's not Charrier. I think Charrier just the car ahead of him, car in front just immediately. But there he is.
He's actually quite a way ahead. Look, Charrier is a long way ahead. And Shari shouldn't even be in that car actually. It looks like Silvano Tenza is supposed to be in that car, so they're missing a driver also, SRE, so he's filling in for them. You see on the side of Chariot's car, look, there you are, 25S Tenza. I think that's Silvano Tenza.
Yeah.
I've heard of him before. Very good driver actually, so they're missing him, and that's not gone well for them. But of course, TPS are missing Nielsen and Calamise, who came first and second in the WSS Championship. So it's not a full field either from TPS. So it's everyone's missing drivers, it seems.
I'm not sure if it's just me, but when I was watching their Chariot going onto the front straight, it didn't look as though he was going too quickly. I think it looks like he was more kind of, when he came off the straight onto the pit straight, he seemed to pull to the inside and was kind of just
He may have been allowing the lap cars to go through.
Ah, there we go. Yeah,
Tolborg.
Yeah, you can see. You can see that was Tolborg and Davis going through, so that probably makes sense there to let those two through. Of course, next you'll have Mohammed Patel behind, who, in fact, Mohammed Patel himself is actually, like I say, dropped way back.
It's only 1.5, yeah.
Seconds.
Yeah, 16 seconds off the back of Toby Davis. He was only 2 seconds off earlier before that. And Vieira is catching him. 1.2 seconds is now the gap. Oh no, Vieira. Well, apparently Vieira is behind James Johnson, but that's not correct. Just obviously the game decided not to register Vieira for that particular sector point. But hopefully we'll get Vieira back now as it comes towards sector 2. So Vieira is still in that 5th position. Please ignore. And we'll see him jump into 5th now as we go. There we go. Back to 5th place. This is 1 lap down now as a result. But I'm sure we'll get that correct as he goes across the finish line. Hopefully. But the gap to Patel is not very big. Vieira can definitely bridge that. And Johnson, I believe, is gaining slowly but surely on Vieira himself. With Maguess not too far off also. Around about 6 seconds in fact actually. So it's a little bit too much of a gap for him to make up. And there is the gap now, 1.2 seconds between Patel and Vieira. Just around about 2 laps to go in this race, maybe 3, depends exactly when Jack Keithley crossed that line. Maybe it's 3 laps to go. But Jack Keithley is in full charge of this race, has been in charge of the entire event. Quite frankly, it's the entire Stock Car World Final. He has asserted himself as the best sim racer on game stock car in the world. There's no doubt about that with this performance. Of course, he was heading for a double win, wasn't he, at Jacarepagua Curva in the first round of WSS before that meeting with Enzo Benito.
Indeed.
So Jack Keithley is asserting himself as, you know, one of the premier sim racers in the entire world, just getting better and better as he drives more and more. Of course, FSR World Series champion, making the jump to World Championship next season, and doing very well in WSS and ATCC. Won last night actually, back in ATCC, and 2 wins here today, 2 dominant wins, it seems like. And I think it's going to be very close actually for a 1 extra lap for Jack Keithley.
I think this will actually be the last lap. I think he crossed the line probably, unless he's going to pump in another 1 minute, pump in a 1 minute 10 on his final on this lap. This is probably going to be the final lap, and I think he may just slow up a little bit. He has lapped one of the SRE cars just there, so this probably is going to be his final lap. And of course, I believe that for next season, taking the place of, just quickly some FSR news from what I've seen around on Facebook, I believe it's going to be a very talented Dutch driver by the name of Rob van Starkenburg, and he's come over from the Netrex team across to Precision, so he's taking Jack's spot as he moves up to the World Championship, and rightly so, because Keith is he's a fantastic talent, and like I said, he seems to be able to adapt into many kind of different cars, and the best thing is he's an English driver as well, so hopefully he'll do well next season. But he's letting the SRE car through because he's about to take a double victory here in his finals.
So Jack Keithley asserts himself as the best game stock car driver in the world. He asserts TPS racing as the pinnacle of virtual touring car racing, no doubt about that. As Jesper Torborg takes 2nd for TPS, 3rd place will be Toby Davis. He'll take that 1, 2, 3 for TPS. 4th place will be Mohammed Patel. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 in both races for the Touring Pro Series. A dominant performance, great performance from those drivers. Vieira in 5th. Great performance from him actually in the end. Very solid indeed from Vieira. He was the same at Curitiba also, so he'll be pleased with his work. Johnson in 6th. Maguest in 7th. Good recovery drive from him after dropping down the field early on. And in 8th place, come across the line now, Alexander Sene, considering he was filling in at short notice for Gabriel Bechtold. That's actually a fantastic result for him, but of course he did run here a couple of weeks ago in the WSS, so he's got no excuses. 9th place is going to be Jerome Tellier, bringing it home, the 1st place driver of the Sim Racing Evolution crew, and they'll be slightly disappointed with their performance in this event, but a great event it's been nonetheless. This is an event which is the only person actually. 9 people finished on the lead lap. This event has been one of a kind, really, because no event in the world has ever brought together different sim racing communities for a race like this, as Jerome Tellier celebrates finishing this event by doing a couple of donuts for the crowd. 10th place was Lacombe, 11th place was Shari, 12th place Carlos Ramos, 13th place was Martin Morayo. They are the best drivers for the RPM machines. They weren't doing too well. And actually, look at this, there's quite a nice little formation shot here as they all come through. Should be a nice shot afterwards.
I think it's definitely one to go up on the...
and Chris Butcher comes charging through with his with his battered car.
Get out of my way, I'm coming for my teammates. Yeah, I think that's definitely it. I definitely think that that's definitely one that's probably going to go on the Touring Pro Series Facebook page. I think those 6 in flying formation at the end, definitely doing one for the cameras. Yeah, well done. Yeah, obviously, obviously it's us Touring Pro Series hosting the broadcast of this event, but of course, I think it has to be said, obviously, I think Chris Butcher wants percentage of attention, I think, because he's just stormed through to the front, and now he's gone ahead and exited back to the pits. But yeah, massive well done to everyone. We lost someone else there as well on the side as well, and they're all going off just for the hell of it because it's the end of the race. But yeah,
There's been a long old night for those drivers. It's been 2 40-minute races, along with 2 sessions and plenty of difficulties as well. It always happens at these special events for some reason. And Patel and they've all celebrating at the end of this race. So that is the end of the event, Scott, and a brilliant event it's been as well. Very interesting event, one of a kind.
It has, yeah. I mean, obviously I came in a bit last minute to help you guys out, but of course, as I said, I'm always itching to do commentary, so it's been a pleasure to do that. And obviously, GameStop car is coming in. It's been said it's the best out of the box. Touring Pro Series boys are still going at it on track, from what I could see. They're hitting each other head on with one car going the wrong way down the pit lane, but such is typical of us TPS boys. But there you go. We always like.
Do you like to have a bit of fun?
We do, yes. Heading down there, but it was fantastic, and a couple of really great races that we had. Some technical problems at the beginning, but thankfully we managed to get those sorted, and by the time we got everything finished, 2 great races, and we've had 2 fantastic race wins by Jack Keithley, and of course a dominant win, I think, overall in point standings for Touring Pro Series. So I think, all in all, for us guys here at TPS, that's not a bad evening racing, I don't think.
It's been excellent, and unfortunately we don't seem to be able to get any word from the rest of the communities in here in the interviews, which would be nice. But we'll have a quick couple of words. We'll have a quick talk to Jack Keithley first of all, because of course he took 2 dominant wins. And Jack, you've taken those 2 wins, and as well as asserting TPS as the pinnacle of virtual touring car racing, you've asserted yourself as you could say officially the best game stock car racer in the world.
Yes, I did go very well. I just want to thank you, Ryan, for inviting us to this event, and really good to do. And to be honest, my 2 races, I can't really say much because not much happened, to be honest.
Yeah, you just didn't lead away from the start, but stunning qualifying times at Curitiba, and then a great qualifying lap at Jacarepaguá as well, considering, I mean, everybody else also caught up in the end, but considering that you come here almost cold, of course, because you'd had no practice at this particular track. You've come off Curitiba after doing an hour on there, and then come to Jacarepaguá with just 4 minutes. I mean, how difficult was that to get in the groove straight away?
Well, yeah, it will certainly take a few laps, but to be honest, I did do a few Jacarepaguá laps before the server got restarted with Curitiba on it. But yeah, it just took about 5-6 laps to get in the groove of it, and yeah, very good.
Well, congratulations, Jack, on your superb performance, and thank you to you for also driving for Touring Pro Series. It's a pleasure to have you in our leagues. Now, Toby Davis, a difficult first event, but you made up for it in the second.
Yeah, the first event didn't go exactly how I planned it, of course. I was expecting to be a little bit higher than what I was. In the first qualifying session, I was higher than in the second, and then binned it after being caught out by someone going slightly slower ahead of me than I expected. So I had to fight my way through the field and managed to get a top 10 for TPS in race 1. And then race 2, I felt like I had the pace over Chris, and then he felt he had the pace over me, and I had one for strange reasons. I had 2 or 3 laps where the throttle cut out just for no reason, and then it was fine. So I have to do some inspecting and some cleaning, I think. But I was catching Jesper by half a tenth a sector at the end, but he is just immense and consistent and all that kind of thing. And then I span on the final lap, so third is, but third's still a great result, I feel.
Yeah, and 1, 2, 3, 4 for Touring Pro Series in both races. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in fact, in the first race, and that's a satisfying result, isn't it, for the TPS, Toby?
Yeah, and it makes me even more proud of the World Supertech Series and the quality in that league, actually, that we can pull out some really good guys from Supertech Series and miss out, you know, the reigning champion, miss out some of the top 5 from last year, you know, Robert Wiesenmuller, and still come away with, I mean, we almost had a clean sweep in race 1, so.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. So congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to Jack for that superb performance. Congratulations to all the TPS guys, of course, for driving so well here today. And, of course, the next TPS broadcast, if you like a bit of Game Stock Car, you like a bit of Curitiba, of course, next Friday we'll be there with the second round of the World Supertech Series Season 3. And there's plenty of drivers in that who have not been here today, by the way. Nielsen, of course, we got Benito as well. Wiesenmuller will be back there also. We got plenty of drivers and all the walk racing guys, Sorensen, Lauritsen, Kilo. So look out for that, and we'll see you guys then. Until then, have fun.